This guy's channel name is Hello Future Me. Is he one of the people that would have got killed by the trolley?
Oh,
Yes.
my favorite. I love this fella.
Oh, good. There we go. Everything's working out.
Man, he loves Korra.
Oh, wow.
Ned and
We're
Jamie.
big fans.
Oh no,
Big
just
fan.
Wow, pinkish purple light. How daring.
I'm sure he's not going to reference Core, and I'm sure that had nothing to do with me organizing you coming on here and having this video up now.
I'm sure,
oh
yes.
no.
That's conspiracy thinking. We don't do that here.
That's
So.
predetermined.
No,
That's
no,
predeterminism. How we doing that? Okay, here we go. Oh, wait, is everyone in? 1, 2, 3. I think everyone is in, right?
Bazinga.
Okay,
Didn't
well,
let me pick a nickname.
that's okay.
Welcome back, children, to my imagination bubble, where together we uncover the secrets of the universe. Today, why don't the voices in our heads stop? And also,
hear
plot
anything.
armor.
Well, they don't stop. They tell me to kill.
Yeah, they did it for ages just then. We did a whole section on it.
Because not even 6 bullets to the head can stop bad writing. And I've created a whole companion video to this one discussing
Oh, is
famous
he
examples.
from New Zealand?
New Zealand?
Don't know?
Well, because he said he'd instead of head. That sounds like a New Zealand accent.
Of what isn't plot armor,
Only someone
despite
down under would know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what people think, and some truly awful examples of it as part of my ongoing Beyond Writing series, which you can get access to with the Curiosity Stream Nebula bundle, linked below, as they have kindly sponsored this video.
I like a bundle.
Part
Apparently
1,
he is
let's be
from New
honest,
Zealand, yes.
sometimes it's just bad writing.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
But wait, what is sometimes
Plot
just
armor,
bad
I
Plot
guess?
armor.
Plot armor. Oh,
The-
sure, right.
But is our position going into this that it's always bad writing?
I feel like you wouldn't call it plot armor if it wasn't justified, and by justified,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean...
I suppose. Yeah, necessarily. If it's plot armor, then it is bad by necessity because plot armor is a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever says like that's really great plot armor.
Yeah, that's some great
It
plot
just
armor.
seems
it's
like,
inherently
yeah.
a
I don't know. There
But
are stories where that is like the point, like like One Punch Man. The point is that he is.
I wouldn't call that
That's
plot
not
armor.
plot.
though.
That's not.
But
plot
they would
armor.
justify it within the
He
story.
earned it.
though.
Yeah, he
They
worked
don't.
himself.
How are we
don't-
defining
they don't
plot armor?
actually justify it within a story. They make it a humongous joke.
Yeah, they explain it away.
Yeah, but it's accounted for in terms of how they do the narrative.
In a 10-kilometer run, and you
I
do that for
get
3
it.
years, you'll be unkillable.
Yeah,
And
the
all
nature of that
culture
world is
retarded.
such that if
But-
you do that,
but
you
yes,
become.
I-
But
I get
no
what
one
you
ever.
mean.
But even Genesis, like that's basic strength training. Everybody would be you.
No,
if
no,
that
no,
were the case.
Wait,
I
wait,
get what
wait,
you
wait,
mean when
wait,
you
wait,
say
wait,
that,
wait. Is there though, as the story eventually unfolds, a reveal for what exactly the origin for his power is, or is by in universe they are actually arguing that is exactly what it is?
I don't believe there's a. I think it's just the joke that he's just overly strong for no great reason.
It wasn't it just squats and
Well,
push-ups and shit.
okay, so there is kind of a vague explanation that you kind of have to do some headcanon to explain, but there is a somewhat of an
he
explanation.
did break his limiter or something like that. I believe they bring up later. But
I feel like plot armor is a very broad term because you could apply it to like situations like in Game of Thrones where, the series establishes that people get killed when they fuck up, and a lot of people fuck up in the later seasons but don't die. But then you
that's
also
very
like
contextual.
right. But would you consider like Luke Skywalker being shot at by like 6 stormtroopers that all miss? Would you consider that plot armor?
It depends where. It depends where. Because
Yeah.
if it's in the new,
I mean, if he's standing still after Obi-Wan dies, and
Yeah, but
That's not.
they're ordered not to kill him though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also that.
That's true.
That's a big one.
It depends on a franchise,
I
right?
guess.
Like how much it can get away with. I mean, every franchise has its own rules, right? Game of Thrones is so much more brutal than Star Wars, right?
I feel like as long as the action can kind of like trick you, like that you don't think about that, then it's not a big deal. If you're not sitting there thinking like, wow, these characters really should have died, this is kind of dumb, then that's bad.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
sometimes they can mask it within the scene, but that's part of the reason it's going to be revealed on a rewatch.
I agree.
I think it's just like
It's still an issue there.
I
It's
think
just one you
not
didn't
all plot
notice.
armor is the same, right? Sometimes it's really egregious. Sometimes it's like, okay.
I was gonna say, do you want to establish a baseline? Like the Long Night is like that's definitive plot armor. They just cut. when
That's like the
people are
most
surrounded.
absurd example of
That's
plot
like
armor,
the
I would
greatest.
say.
That's the most perfect
Well,
example of
we
plot
have
armor.
the
You're
example in
surrounded and it
Ahsoka,
is
right?
cut.
That what's her name getting stabbed through the gut, and she's fine. Like the next day, she's up and at him.
Sabine Wren, the very cool character.
That's
pretty awesome.
Hyper plot armor compared to
The
Qui-Gon, who
character
had
with the
no
worst
plot armor.
haircut in any fucking series ever.
related to Kylo Ren.
Well, hold on. Is Sabine's hair worse than Holdo's?
Nothing. I don't even know who this character looks like. But
who's Holdo?
All right, let me explain this in a phrase. Let me explain this in a let me explain this in a format that you might understand. There is a trolley is heading down the track.
Oh,
Admiral Holdo is
I'm an expert at this.
They both have a terrible haircut.
They both have terrible haircut.
And one is purple.
Who dies?
I need to take this opportunity to say though, cauterization does not make your
Equal causation.
So this Marc guy is an idiot. If you get stabbed in the heart, as long as it's cauterized, you're fine.
No,
yeah, obviously.
Stops bleeding. That's
her insides will be boiling and
Have you ever been stabbed in the brain?
Right.
You've got to put fire in there, and it'll save you.
Honestly, you have a better chance of getting.
If I get shot by a superheated bullet. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't do anything.
Let's
it's like no damage.
To say.
You're a vegetable though.
Well, should we all? How are we defining plot armor at all?
When you're supposed to take damage, but you don't.
Okay, we'll see.
Yes, and then we can talk about it.
All right, fine.
You write yourself into a corner and you come up with some dumb, contrived excuse of a way to get out of it. And the reader noticed. Graham the Wizard Who Likes Cats is floating through the vacuum of space, bleeding out from 62,000 million stab wounds, and he just happens to pop a magic pill from the spaceship, and you've never heard of it, and suddenly it's just a flesh wound. It's dumb. You know it's dumb. The three-eyed man who whispers to me from under my bed that he knows. He knows. He knows it's dumb as well. I don't like saying this because I like giving more helpful advice, but sometimes there's really no other solution than just to write a better scene. Like, there's this one time where Arya gets stabbed several times in
This is a classic.
Yeah.
For those who don't know,
Classic.
she gets stabbed like 4 times in the belly by a dagger, thrown into a sewer, and then the following day she has some chicken soup and it's all fine.
Wait. Yeah. Chase through the city after, like literally they have a whole parkour scene practically.
There is
with
that
this
too,
woman.
yes.
Yeah, and then she has some soup and she's good.
Stomach and falls into sewer water and then stumbles around the town and seemingly
God, that was so stupid.
He heals up just fine the next day. They should very
Wow, he didn't mention the chicken soup. Liar.
Wow. Or the
integral.
Yes.
Simply she never used her daredevil power. They gave her that daredevil ability where she turned off the lights and could still fight, and she never fucking used it. That was the thing I actually cared about more than the stupid face.
He cuts the candle and fights the waif.
Oh my god.
Did you mean after that?
Yeah, that is after this.
Yeah, we never.
No. I meant, did you mean she never uses it? Like
she never uses it again after. Like I like that moment.
Right.
She doesn't defeat the Night King in the dark.
Yeah. I didn't even, dude. I wouldn't even defend the use against the wave. The wave is supposed to be prepared in that sort of shit too.
Yes,
so it'd make a difference.
Her entire potential.
Yeah, the faceless stuff. It felt like it had a really cool build-up and idea for absolutely zero payoff.
They fucking wasted Arya so.
Dude, it sounds like you're talking about seasons 5 through 8.
For the most.
Almost like they had.
As soon as she got to Bravos, her brain just melted, and she became an unlikable character that they had no plan for. I loved Arya season 1 through 4.5.
Well, that's where they ran out of book material. So yeah.
Season 5. Fucking.
It's crazy how they managed to waste her entire potential, even though she does kill the main guy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing. They didn't do anything with her.
What? That was set up.
Dude, her fucking ending where she's like, "What's West Westeros?"
And she just cucks Gendry.
Like
she killed her. Westeros.
It was set up in season 1 when she would secretly whisper the Night King at the end of her, or season 2, I guess. At the end of her
off screen. It's totally fine at the end of her list. But worth mentioning, by the way, killed the Night King in episode 3. I'm pretty sure it's episode either 1 or 2 of that season that she's like, "What's a White Walker?"
It was the episode like right before that. She'd never even heard of them.
Yeah.
She had never heard of them before and had to ask Gendry.
So
kills
cringe.
the Night King, and then she wants to just leave like the next time.
Apparently,
the very next day.
Old Nan telling her about them.
Oh, Nan.
So cringe. Evil cringe.
Come up with something better. They should have written a better solution for Arya to get out of this, or foreshadowed the solution better, or at least just don't write them into a corner where it requires a contrived solution like this in the first place. It's why plot armor often feels like Deus Ex Machina or just luck. The problem a lot of the time is a few pages back, and if it feels contrived to you when you're writing it, if you're kind of umming and ahhing, it probably is. But I'll let you in on a little trade secret. We make characters survive for plot reasons just because we want them to all the time. Plot armor is just when we don't hide that very well.
Pretty much.
I'd agree with that.
Let me think. Well,
there's sometimes they
think about that.
They could construct a scenario where you can clearly see this is plot armor, but at this moment is so earned by the character that you kind of just let it go. My example would be like Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards. Aged terribly, but in the moment, I remember just kind of giving him a
Wait,
pass
but that doesn't work as an example then, right?
With this logic, I think every time the main character does not die is like plot armor. Like,
well, so wait, what I think he's simply trying to say is that as a writer, you've always got the power to choose when and where they die or don't. It's just that when you do a bad job of protecting them, that's when it looks like plot armor, even though plot armor is technically happening all the time.
That's what
I agree with the sentiment.
When you notice
I just wouldn't classify it the same way. I wouldn't say it's like
definition,
but clean plot armor or not, I guess, would be the difference.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint it that way.
That's what I said. We have to define what we mean by plot armor.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a bit of a contention, is that I wouldn't define it the way he is, but that's fine. I understand
I think the sentiment I agree with, yes.
See, plot armor isn't actually a problem with main characters not dying. I think a lot of the time we just get fatigued with the question of whether characters are going to get hurt or die with no follow-through, and we stop believing, we stop caring, we see behind the curtain and we see the plot armor. That's why it's really a problem with 1, a lack of immersion, or 2, a lack of
That's not plot armor. That example right there is not plot armor.
No, well, I was getting confused by the
plot
visuals.
armor in these. Yeah, because there's a lot of this is the Desolation of Smaug. There's plenty of plot armor in this movie. There's a lot of plot armor in this movie and in this series. But what's her name? Tauriel saving Keeley. That is not plot armor. She was also they were there to get them. Yeah.
Lack of immersion and lack of tension leading to us seeing the plot armor more obviously, like maybe, but that wouldn't change whether or not it's actually there, right? The tension or immersion.
I'd say the plot armor is what breaks the
immersion. These are side effects of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also remind that in real life, plot armor can't exist. It's like a plot hole. It can't exist in reality, because in reality there is a reason, a logical reason for everything. It's purely can only exist within a fictional or hypothetical world.
I mean, spoken like a true side character.
I was about to say, just because you have plot armor doesn't mean you can pretend like it doesn't exist, right? Come on.
Wait. Teddy Roosevelt had plot armor when he got shot while giving a speech, and then he didn't die and kept giving the speech. He had plot armor then.
The writer killed JFK. He could have given him plot armor.
Yeah, the speech.
Yeah.
Base Teddy.
It also seemed like he's conflating things, not like, okay, so plot armor, we typically think of it as like they should have died from this thing, but they didn't because the story writer didn't want them to. But he seems to be conflating like the unwillingness to kill main characters as if that's the same thing. And I don't know if it is. Like, if, Stranger Things doesn't seem to want to kill any of the main kids, but they just keep introducing new characters every season to kill. Is that, I don't know if I'd call that plot armor.
As far as I'm concerned, as long as they're never in a position where they should have died.
And just don't put them in a position that there's no coming back from. Don't put them in that position, that's it.
Which, by the way, happens in Stranger Things Season 4.
Something I've thought about as like a way of keeping track of plot armor is, you imagine you put a main character in a dangerous situation, and you almost like imagine in your head a likelihood of them not coming out of that one okay or dying, and that there's only so many times that you can put a character in an incredibly perilous situation before, as a reader, viewer, player, whatever, you're just going to be like, really? Like they got lucky every single time, the bullets missed every single time, they got away with it every single time, that there's only so many times you can put somebody in a dangerous situation before there has to be a consequence for them.
Kind of like
the
Damon in the Hati when he got hit with the arrow. I was having an issue with that scene, but I feel like they fixed it in the end. Go ahead.
There's so many variables that come into it, right? Like if you had a guy who's just in an open space, lying on the ground, enemy has a minigun, and they're just firing. It's like, okay, switch the minigun for a pistol, and they're pretty far away. It's like, that's better, but they could probably still get him. Now there's a table in front of him that he's tilted up, and he's using as cover. It's like, okay, now he has an Iron Man suit. You're like, oh, well, then he's safe. That's 100. Like, there's like all of those different scenarios keep changing the likelihood, and I think Fringy's right that if you kept putting them in a position where a guy with a pistol kept shooting at them and they had a table, wooden, and you know, he fired like 1,000 shots. We were like, I don't think the table's gonna save you from that. I'm sorry.
At some point, the odds are not in your favor. You know,
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can get lucky. Though I saw this is something we've talked about before. Someone mentioned in chat. They said you can choose to make the survivor the protagonist, which is like, yeah, the reason why we're following this person is because they were the lucky one in this situation. They're the POV character because they made it to the end. You can think about it that way as well. But even then, right? It's like how lucky can that person get? You know, there's only
so far you can push it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not an exact line necessarily when plot armor becomes the case. Sometimes it does, but usually it's not an exact line. But in much the same way we have, you know, differences between two things. Generally, you can say when plot armor happens, and it's generally pretty reasonable as to whether or not people go along with the idea.
You can maybe do a bit by establishing that the thing that makes this character exceptional is just that they are very lucky and people keep commenting on it. But I think even then it'll turn into parody.
Well, yeah, that sounds like lamp shading.
I mean, they do that pretty good with Master Chief in the Halo series.
That's actually
that'd be a good example actually.
Because that's also like a motif, you know, it's like a theme.
But it's not like the universe is until 343 came along. It's not like the universe ordained him as being lucky. It's just kind of an observation that characters make.
No. Yeah. But it begins Halo 3 with Cortana basically saying that's why she picked him, because he had luck that the other ones didn't.
They didn't have.
But that's Cortana's perspective. It's not necessarily a state as to the actual state.
Until, again, 343 came along and decided that that's not the case.
But to bring it to a simple kind of trope, to give an example of a simple trope that you do see pop up in things, the Bible in the pocket trick, like the bullet hit that book that my father gave me that I always carry around in my
the lucky coin.
That happening to a character one time at most. But if you're in a situation where it's like, hey, we're in season 5 of this TV show and we got to keep on thinking of like new big heavy necklaces to give this guy because man,
wow, that's
just don't put them in a situation.
Even the first time you do it, you got to do it like with Ned Flanders, where every single time he got lucky 2 times over. Because he has a Bible close to his heart and a necklace with a piece of the cross to protect him from the sniper. I think I'm gonna go inside. And then it hits the pickaxe down. I told you we should have bought more than 3 bullets.
Let's just grab him.
Especially when part 2, the writer.
Funny, someone said that's literal armor. No, that's plot armor. That's not armor, regular armor. Well, you could argue it's both, I guess, because the idea that he was lucky enough that the bullet hit exactly on the. It's just like a glass onion. Yeah. That's fucking plot armor. That's not regular armor.
Yeah.
But I guess you could
never getting hit in his non-armor parts.
It's
absolutely plot armor.
I did specify you can get away with it once, maybe, if you write it in a way that it's like, well, we did establish him being given this thing and putting it in this pocket at the beginning of the movie. So later in the movie, when he gets shot in the chest, hey, we did set it up. But if you do it again, everyone's just going to be out.
There are ways to try and narrow in the variables, right? Like, imagine someone was trying to subvert an assassination, and so they told the victim, like, the only way we can do this convincingly is I'm going to give you something that will protect you and put it over your heart. It's relatively small, won't be seen, blah, blah, blah. And then they tell the assassin, make sure you hit them in their heart, you know. Don't miss. You know, so like it's like, oh, so when it hit that, because that, blah, 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 as opposed to they just luckily wore something that luckily hit the thing and it luckily saved them. Yeah, like, there are ways to try and reduce the variables.
I'm worried this guy's just going to say that the times that plot armor is good are times that we wouldn't even consider it plot armor. You know, that he's going to broaden the term.
Let's say,
breaks the rules they originally set up. Like, nobody is annoyed because heroes in a CW superhero show aren't getting hit by stray bullets like the bystanders are in the weekly Let's See How Much More Whipping This Dead Horse Can Take episode. No, we're mad because the show is terrible. See, a ton of stories have
Why is it terrible?
Approach to death and pain, where if you die, you get to 1, conclude your character arc, 2, probably go out heroically, and 3, someone...
Why do you have Luke here?
Why is Luke there?
Why do you have Luke?
I know.
What's
going on? Why is Luke?
No.
Like, my brain just like clued into that. It's like,
Luke could have gone, but he didn't.
Wait.
Get him out of here.
No.
Remember, Luke could have gone, but he didn't.
Ultimate plot armor, being a ghost.
Well, also the Doctor doesn't exactly die.
Guys.
Yeah, I'm fine with people considering it the death of that iteration. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way this video is constructed. It's giving me a whiplash, kind of.
There's no plot armor in Whiplash.
Well,
Damn good movie.
Really?
Oh
It is a
yeah.
damn good movie, yeah.
I love that movie. Well, I was just about like, well, is
I
it,
love it
is it
too.
plot armor that he didn't die in the car crash? It's like,
Nope.
well, that might be a good example, right? He didn't
He
die,
got
but he
fucked
suffered
up,
though.
significantly.
He didn't
got
die
hurt
because
very
cars are
badly,
designed to keep
and
you
he
fucking
couldn't
alive.
play. It had which is probably a thing to emphasize, right? If a character doesn't die, but they suffer massive consequences for the thing anyway, that's the important part. It's not whether they die; it's really about
exactly the
consequences.
consequences.
Yes.
Well, hey,
that
you got Iron Man on screen right now. He didn't die
Iron
from
Man.
that explosion to his heart, but fuck, it had consequences.
Yes, it did have consequences. Yeah.
I was just gonna say on Whiplash that crash scene. I think that's one of the most realistic crash scenes I've seen in like a long time.
Yeah,
like
that-
the way they
that one.
And
portrayed
he
it was like
bleeds
you
afterwards
feel
when
it,
he's playing.
and
Oh,
you
it's
see the
brutal.
slow,
Yeah.
everything about it. Yeah, they nailed it.
And will kill you. Doctor Who, Marvel, Star Wars, they all work by this kind of logic. And people love these stories. We all
Star Wars used to have logic.
Oh, wait. Wow.
Debatable.
Debatable, yes.
I don't know.
do.
how you
It's
put Luke
part
there.
of the charm of these fictional worlds.
Please don't say
Oh.
that with
What?
this visual.
Stop saying that.
This is not
charming that
charming.
was.
This is
This
horrible.
was-
no.
Not
This
charming.
movie was
This is-
arguably.
I gotta say, seeing this in the theater was so confusing to me. I was like, "What is
You can't-
going
you
on?"
can't-
Yeah, I
serious.
was like, wait, is Luke dead?
Yeah,
Is
people
Luke
debated
done?
whether
Is
or not
Luke
it- that
done?
he
I was
died.
Done
so
with
lost.
Luke?
Like, is he dead? Is Luke
I was
gone?
like,
Is that
okay,
it for him?
I guess they'll have him in the next movie. He's got to go. Oh wait, he's
Just-
dead. Like
Just to be
I
clear, to remind everybody, The Last Jedi. This is the movie that created EFAP.
Yeah.
Just a reminder on the anniversary. TLJ
Yeah.
created EFAP. That's how we all like came together, decided to make a podcast. The whole did it. TLJ wasn't
It's the
shit
Big Bang.
tier garbage.
Nice.
EFAP might not have ever become a thing.
Maybe
Somehow
not.
Luke
Permanently tied to
Skywalker
the
returned.
No.
Star Wars universe.
let me Regs. Let
They
me add to
could.
that. Let me add to that. TLJ is why my name is Jedi Brooks. It inspired my channel too. So it's like permanently tied to this man.
Okay, here's your trolley problem.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
On one track,
Oh my God.
on one track, you change nothing, and EFAP continues to exist. On the other track,
We know
on
what's
the
on
other
your mind.
track,
I already know what
Okay,
you're
I
gonna
know
ask.
where I know where
you
you're going. with
you
it.
run over
you've asked
Rian
it before.
Johnson, and you get a better writer for the Star Wars movie.
Already answered
Long
that
live
question.
EFAP.
Just why don't you just make it straightforward? Save Star Wars by sacrificing EFAP. Do you do it?
Okay,
Oh.
just fine, whatever.
Fine.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing
you
is,
say
well, the
Star
thing is,
Wars,
I don't think
sacrifice
Star
is
Wars gets saved. It all
Star
ends
Wars
up
isn't
fucked
saved,
anyway. Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah.
would be
No, it's
terrible.
baked into the
No, in the
hypothetical that it's
hypothetical.
saved.
Yeah, in the hypothetical, it's
right,
handled
right.
well.
I was
The
thinking about
franchise
the
is strong and
TLJ being
healthy.
good.
How many people would you have never met? Like, just that's simple.
I think, dude, we actually, I think a super chat asked us this not like half a year ago or so, and we did talk about like all the good that came from the death of Star Wars, but that Star Wars does mean a shit ton to so many people, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
When you were with Jeff, you and Wolf were with Jeff talking about like Alien and stuff. You had like a podcast for like 3 hours. That same question popped up. I remember that specifically. And basically, would you pull the plug? And like all three of you just came down to like all the connections you've made and like why would you delete all that just for like no.
My friendships are real. Yeah, the real people and the podcast and like
Versus a
they did it to
hypothetical Star
themselves.
Wars, that was good.
To be clear, the Star Wars people they did it to themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The Star Wars people are not victims.
This is not the burden that we have to bear for them.
Exactly.
Yes, they are the ones.
All
who
these
fucked up.
rationalizations. Okay.
They are the ones who fucked up. Not us.
There's no reason we should answer this. This is absurd. This would never happen. This hypothetical. It's crazy.
Right.
That's true.
That's right.
TLJ would never be good.
There is no way.
Wait. Let me get this straight. So Mahler, you would kill you're tied to the track. You would pull the lever to kill yourself over 5 strangers. But you wouldn't do that to save Star Wars?
Well, I didn't get the answer yet. I was going to say, like, if I was convinced that a healthy Star Wars makes the world a much better place than a healthy EFAP, then I would probably have to save Star Wars.
What would convince you of that?
Save
though?
EFAP.
It's a tough thing because I know how much good EFAP's brought to people, so it's difficult for me to know that other future where, like, does Star Wars inspire, like, some of the greatest heroes in the world? Maybe. By the way, I'm not even joking. Like, that's a potential. Luke Skywalker's story, handled well, could further inspire other people to become, like, firefighters or, you know, whatever have you. So
yeah,
To
but
prevent
if
Putin
the
from
movie
invading
wasn't
Ukraine.
as bad as it was, then we wouldn't even be here to discuss the concept
Yeah.
of this. So
And we wouldn't have it to learn from too. Like
yeah.
how many people like change the way they view movies?
Remember,
That's actually
failure is
true.
the greatest teacher in
Yeah,
this failure of
it
a
is
movie.
true. a lot of great stories may have been inspired by the shittiness of Star Wars. It's complicated.
I know way more about writing because Rian Johnson destroyed Luke. It's just that simple.
It woke me up.
I never watched the
my
review
awakening.
before that. Yeah.
So
same.
do we have a choice or not?
Yes.
I don't think anyone's saving Star Wars here.
It's super difficult, and it would eventually get to a point where be like, I don't know if I want to fuck with reality to the point where I don't know if I make everything worse.
And you know what? I'm happy with how things are. You know, I think things turned out all right.
That is
all said and done.
That's kind of the lever action part of it, right?
Star Wars had its chance.
Somehow, Star Wars didn't return.
A lot of good came out of it, especially The Last Jedi. I mean, there's so much content, so much positive and like fun stuff out there about it.
Yeah.
We might not have
video essays.
Well, legit question, Rags Fringy. I know I would, but would you want to like sort of say something in that regard to Ryan if you met him at first? Would you want to say something like "Thank you for like the effect you've had on my life" or something, or would you want to not fuck around?
That's hilarious.
You know what? Yeah, the dude seems to be like a real prick. So, I would have been like, "Yeah, man, thanks so much for like changing film discussion and launching, help launching this podcast of ours." And it really it was probably the most damaging thing ever, but that made ripples and waves that did so much good for so many people. A lot of people, got awoken from their I guess their complacency potentially. But yeah, I might be like, yeah, you might have made one of the worst movies ever made and destroyed arguably one of the biggest franchises in human history, and probably set it on a course of destruction. But some good stuff came out of it. I wouldn't say this to like Hitler or anything, but I with Ryan, I'd be pretty.
I would tell him he destroyed a franchise with his first draft piece of shit movie. And
he had some help.
Like, he will never be forgotten for this. Like, it's just one of those situations. He's like a legend now because of this.
Also, I think it was a collective effort from everyone involved.
They tried really hard.
How many people tried to talk him out of it? Like, if you watch the clips, you can see the faces. Nobody was like on board with it. They just, you can see their face. They're like, dude, oh man, you see his little stick man figure drawings? He legit.
The reality is it all began with the decision to have different people who didn't talk to each other create a trilogy.
Yeah.
That's how we get a fresh take each time.
Here's a better question.
Would you
Mark? JJ trilogy or Ryan trilogy? Pick one right now.
Damn.
JJ.
No.
I probably would go with the JJ one because
it'd be shit, but it'd be entertaining. Ryan
No.
would start
No. I don't know. It would be entertaining. You really think?
I'm not promising that.
I don't think I'd promise entertainment. It'd be awful.
Entertaining in an awful way.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Enough to
less insulting
for the casual audience and less insulting. It wouldn't rip my heart out and turn me into a movie review.
Look what you did to me.
Think about the content.
Destroyed.
Think about the amount of content that would be made out of
the
entire trilogy from Ryan.
I can think about that now, but back then I just wanted to go. I started TLJ thinking this is gonna be one of the best. This is gonna be one of my favorite movies. Like,
the trailer was great.
It can't not be.
Trailers. Oh my god.
They got me with that cliffhanger.
So much.
I've got something for this actually. Do you want to, Rags? Why don't you read this out? It's directly from Rian Johnson. It feels appropriate right now.
All right, Rian Johnson said,
"Some in the round head."
Look. In terms of you said roundhead and I wanted to say it. Look, in terms of the Star Wars movie I tried to give it a hell of an ending. I love endings so much that even doing the middle chapter of the trilogy, I tried to give it a good ending. A good ending that recontextualizes everything that came before it and makes it a beautiful object unto itself. That's what makes a movie a movie. It feels like there's less and less of that. This whole poisonous idea of creating intellectual property has completely seeped into the bedrock of storytelling. Everyone is just thinking, how do we keep milking it? I love an ending where you... I love an ending where you burn the Viking boat into the sea.
I love that his response to infinitely milking it is to fucking annihilate it, kill it, stab it.
You gotta have respect for that. He just kind of like gave the middle finger to Disney.
Agreement with him.
I wouldn't believe that unless you told me it was.
I absolutely do not have to respect him for that. What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, no, respect the gall, because like you just gave the middle finger to Disney and all the Star Wars fans. Like he's just flat out saying, "Yeah, I burned the Viking boat. Fuck y'all."
The thing is, if you're burning the Viking boat at the end of a story, and also it's your own story, that's one thing. But if it's the middle chapter of a trilogy,
it's not your story.
Yeah,
the man ended the trilogy in the middle of the trilogy. That's the worst part about it.
Makes it so funny. He screwed over the next guy.
So exactly. Everybody with that. He ended the film.
Like, I don't think
I do not respect that goal
How
at
much
all.
blame do you put on the people that made Rise of Skywalker versus Ryan Johnson?
What could they do?
It's a complicated
I blame them all.
He could have done a lot of stuff.
TFA lays down a horrible
they could have had them know which way
Jedi ignored a lot of that horrible groundwork as well, and then the Rise of Skywalker just backtracks again. It's incredible.
I think the Rise of Skywalker could absolutely be a better movie.
It could have been better. Yeah, that was
not
terrible.
A good one, but a better one.
Ryan left them with. Sorry, go ahead. Ryan left them with nothing, but it still could have been way better.
He left them with a burnt Viking ship.
He did.
It wasn't just the ending.
Remember,
though.
coming out of TLJ, we still had the Rey and the Kylo. We still had the
This stuff you could do,
Finn and Poe, and you still had
that Viking boat.
They could have had a
burned,
time.
He could paddle.
Remember,
instead he just
they
shot
could have had
himself.
He could have gotten on the escape raft. It wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have gotten the job done.
Hell of a lot better.
To bring back Palpatine. He didn't have to do that.
That's true.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
That was actually there was a viral tweet
Yeah.
saying like, "What a fuck up that like it forced JJ to bring back Palpatine." And I was like, "No, it didn't force him to do that."
So ridiculous.
Villain of the whole trilogy.
The very first time I looked at the poster for TFA, the first thing I said is, "Where the hell is Luke?" I'm like, "Who is this guy?" The Finn, and then I thought Rey. I'm like, you know what? She's probably gonna have a good backstory. Maybe she'll be a Kenobi. Ooh, maybe she'll be a Palpatine. That was my first 10 seconds of looking at the poster, and to think that was what they dragged it out to the very.
Well, they weren't sure who she was until they actually.
Yeah, no idea.
Well, it's just the indecisiveness. Your history matters. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. That's
They're nobody. For everybody to be super creative and be unbridled with the crazy things they can throw into their brand new story.
Oh, God.
I mean, JJ completely failed to set it up. Ryan,
when they robbed my house,
yeah.
When they robbed my house, they forced me to shit myself.
We've gotten so derailed from the video.
I was just seeing this fucking image. Yeah, it did trigger us.
He needs to put trigger warnings on the video. Imagery of the TLJ will be showing up.
The same thing happened with Arya in the soup for a second. We all just lost
will be reminded.
Well, and to think, what's crazy is the Legend of Korra is going to be in this too. So EI will have his turn.
I can't wait. I can't wait. He always brings it up. Can't wait.
Where there's this purpose and poetry to death that we don't get in real life. In this weird masochistic
way. You don't think
we
life can be purposeful and poetic?
Hey, boy.
Not in the same way it is in film, I guess, Rex.
I do not agree with that.
It's a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could find ways to make it like a narrative or like poetry, in real life, even if it doesn't necessarily fully fit.
Well, I guess you'd say we would inscribe the meaning as opposed to life itself having.
Sure, but I mean,
I want to be generous and say that like
time, right?
the stories are built to do that, while life, it could not, or it would always, depending on who you are.
I get what he means. I understand what he means.
He died because he force powered too hard one time.
Danger because it gets us
Look at that
invested
little
and we
character.
buy into that
What are
fantasy.
you doing to him?
Leave him alone.
Oh God!
He never hurt nobody.
Poor boy.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Sometimes a character will go and mend their relationship with their estranged brother, and then they'll say, I can't wait to retire into my old age after this big epic final battle. Like, they're already dead at that point. There's no hope for them. They're already
that's
in
a
the ground.
trope, but that's not necessarily the case. And I'm getting a little lost as to what his point is.
That reverse plot armor.
I think he's doing a bit of a ramble. Like he's like.
I think that is reverse plot armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a meme.
Is he suggesting though that
fair enough.
Wait, yeah.
Possible the mentor character could live into the story?
He's just talking about the trope of when the old dude is like, "Man, I'm retiring next week. Isn't that great?" And it's like, "Oh, well, he's dead."
That's always the funniest. Because you know exactly where it's gonna go.
Dude, and then in McVeigh, like the McVeigh thing, we just crashed the boat, and the boat is called Live Forever.
Yeah, I love
forever.
I'm not gonna make it.
from that in these kinds of stories. But plot armor isn't really something people complain about, not as much as you might think, because there's this underlying understanding that there are different rules for death. And here's the thing, going back on those rules can destroy immersion.
Look, I'm looking to possibly agree with you, but I need more clarity here. Give me more clarity.
Yeah. I feel like this is a weird way of saying that there's different types of plot armor. Like,
well, because I almost thought he was going to say that there is plot armor sometimes that people just don't give a shit about because narratively it's so strong that the thing happened.
That's the point I was trying to make earlier with the Jon Snow thing. Where
I totally buy that there are people who will totally accept a thing even if it's dumb as like. It was funny you said Battle of the Bastards. That was highly rated as fuck. Even though you're right in terms of there's loads of problems of plot armor in it. But I would probably, and I assume this is more so the EFAP position, we'd be like, we highlight it whether or not it's got narrative juice. Or we point out the narrative juice as well, but still.
Rickon had plot vulnerability.
Yeah, plot poison, plot sabotaging, anti-plot armor, reverse plot armor, whichever word you want to go with.
Vulnerability, something. Yeah, there's a name for it.
But let's compare Game of Thrones, those CW shows, and Daredevil, each of which have very different narrative rules around death and pain and injury. So, in Game of Thrones, Ned Stark dying is meant to signal to the reader that main characters, one,
yeah, sorry about that, everybody. Ned Stark does die.
Jeez.
Are not safe, and two,
wait, Sean Bean dies?
Seemingly
still haven't recovered.
What? In a movie?
I could not believe that would happen.
In a film?
I don't want to fight him on everything, but I do find it interesting to call it an anticlimactic way. I guess the point being that it's not a heroic death where he fights like a dragon.
I understand what he means. That it's like the hero dies and things are unresolved and things are pretty bad.
Well, no,
maybe untraditional is a better way of saying it.
Yeah. I'd say it's unexpected, right? It's atypical.
It's not anticlimactic. It's
subversive.
As he's walking up there, it's like it's so drawn out. You're like, someone's gonna come in and save him. Like you're just waiting for that, and just
I understand what you mean.
He's talking about like the series or whatever series or story establishing its rules for death and how death is handled with like main characters.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
That's rule one. It's good. This establishes a sense that any character can die at any moment. They're not safe, which gives you a sense of more so immersion. I would argue that you feel like the events have actual consequences, but anticlimactic is complicated. I guess I would say that there was a guy I showed the show, and when Ned got killed, he didn't believe it. Hit the credits, and he was like, "He's not dead. He's not. That's insane. He's not dead." And I was like, "Sorry, mate. Like he's dead."
Yeah, you just can't accept it. I was the same way until you actually see the next episode start with his body being dragged. I wouldn't accept it until I see the body. Something's gonna pop in. I've watched too many shows. It's Sean Bean. They're not killing him. Oh,
which is why I would rather call it
Sean Bean. They're not killing him. Was your logic?
That was my logic at the time. Yeah, and I learned.
Don't kill Sean Bean.
I don't think he's calling it anticlimactic. I think he's more so saying like it can hit you unexpectedly in a way that might feel anticlimactic or
I think
subversive. Yeah, that's a good word.
Unconventional, just not unconventional.
Yeah.
Well, from the filmmaking perspective,
just a thesaurus mistake.
From the filmmaking standpoint, it's very climactic, right? The way it's shot, the way it's set up, the way it happens. But within the story itself, it's a
casual
beheading of a man.
Right.
In that terms, okay, it could be considered anticlimactic within the story. But the way it's translated to the film, it's very climactic to the viewer itself, I think.
Yeah, like
wouldn't it be the opposite? Like in real life, you just expect he just walks up and gets his head shot off. But in a story, you expect like someone's going to save him.
Well, that's why I think she's kind of crystallized it there, because I think this is quite a climactic scene. It's building, and he dies, and it's like, holy fuck. But anticlimactic in the way of, did an executioner just killed Ned Stark after he was in jail for 3 episodes? What the fuck? Seriously? And it's like, yeah, stories don't usually go that way.
You didn't character
combat at the last moment, or?
Yeah, you expect like two armies fight and the two bosses meet up in the fucking battlefield. They have a huge, showdown, and then one of them dies. That's a climactic way to die.
The lack of action is probably why he said it. Just so it wasn't a battle scene. It was a super way to say it.
Yeah,
that's why it was so powerful.
I think it's interesting to describe it this way, and I think
we know what he means.
Yeah, like Robb Stark's death, you might be able to call anticlimactic because, like, at least the first time I watched Game of Thrones, When I was watching it, I was like so invested because I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, Rob's gonna get vengeance somehow," and then he doesn't, and you just like when I first watched the Red Wedding, I was like, "Man!" So now, like, thing I've been watching and looking forward to is just not gonna happen. I guess.
I couldn't believe a show had that much balls to do it again.
Yeah,
like literally derail your main character
Dude, that
again.
Is how
you got me invested.
Those two big events is how this show got its rep. And then
the Red Wedding created Game of Thrones. Yeah,
the Purple Wedding and Oberyn again and again. It's like these are a great event, and then they started to become like iterative and sort of trying to create those events.
They tried to recreate that the public appeal of that and try to recreate those moments and all these stupid things. They just got lost in the spectacle and forgot what the
I feel like the showrunners got to a point where like people had been so invested in the characters and they loved so many of them that in the later seasons they were scared as fuck to do any like rash decision. So, you know, I love Ed, but you know, like him getting killed off versus like, I don't know, Arya or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and by the way,
pure apathy.
There are some people who was saying the Red Wedding is absolutely climactic. It's like, it's really about how you break down what mean. That's why I was saying it's an interesting word to use because I feel like it gives different ideas.
It is true. It's complicated when you're talking about the Red Wedding with that one.
Anticlimactic ways. Whether or not their arc is finished, it doesn't need to be heroic. There can be questions that are still unanswered in the narrative, and it can be something stupid. There's this massive story in the books, it doesn't appear in the show, where one character goes to like meet Daenerys's dragons, and there's whole chapters leading up to it, and then he's just roasted in an instant. Doesn't go anywhere.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
Again, I would probably aim for subversive on a lot of these, especially if I was aiming to compliment them. Because you know how people were like, Ryan Johnson, he was just subversive. It's like, I don't fucking care if he was subversive. It was horribly written.
He's actually wrong, though, factually.
Because like, what he just described in the book, I'd be like, if I was reading that for ages and he gets the dragon and gets burnt up, I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but in the book, there's a lot of hinting that the guy does not actually die. That it's just they faked his death. So he's actually just wrong about that. But
he didn't even portray it properly. Wow.
Could we at least say that he might be wrong on the reference, but in concept, if you had a character who was on a journey forever and ever and ever, and then they just die.
I mean, that'd be horribly anticlimactic.
I'd be like, like there's a point where it's like,
could be mysterious.
It's probably worth mentioning. I feel like there's going to be an example of how to do that right, quote unquote. There's probably a way.
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men should be the example for that, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Did you
example,
like that? No Country for Old Men?
I adore that film.
I love that film.
That puzzled me.
Wait, which
puzzled me for 2 years of like what happened in that ending? But it's one of the most fascinating endings to a movie I've ever had.
We're going to have the fucking argument of whether or not that ending is fucking masterclass. I don't know if we have the time.
I think there's very few people that would have the balls to actually commit to an ending like that, and I'm glad they did, even though it confused millions.
I mean, it was ballsy. I'll agree with that.
I remember watching it with a girl, and she like walked out of the
You don't like it. That's the implication.
Me?
No, I hate the ending. Well, I hate not the ending. I hate that they killed the main guy off screen, but.
They could have gave us some crazy showdown, but
I guess I understand that, but
you hate Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yeah, we had that conversation.
Wait, you hate that movie?
No, I didn't like the.
It helps me understand, Fringy. I'm just creating a profile.
No, Amal's trying to poison the well.
Exactly. Sitch, you also have great media opinions, right?
What'd you say?
You also have great media opinions, right?
Say, look at this.
Just say yes. Say yes. And say yes. Agree. It helps you if you agree.
All you have to do is say yes.
If you say no, it's terrible.
No. Okay, let me answer the question. So first of all, you can like I didn't say that the ending to No Country for Old Men is bad. I just don't like it. That's not my cup of tea.
You said you hated it, right?
To just have the main character be killed anticlimactically off screen, and I'm like, wait, what?
I think it's really ballsy, kind of brilliant. I know why people hate it, though. It's one of those things where, like, I can totally understand it's ruining it for everyone.
Of course, you can like or dislike it, whatever. I'd say it's just a shame that you didn't enjoy it like that because I loved it. that was like, oh god damn, what a gutsy.
It felt to me too much like. Choice. Personally, it felt to me too much like the director being like egotistical.
pretentious.
And pretentious.
Like
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. So I was like, oh.
How so? I don't get that.
Wait, we don't.
It's like,
do we want to
the
do
director's
this?
just going like, it's
You don't need
real.
to. We'll be on this for a while if we bring it up.
I know. Okay, we can move on. It's fine.
By the way, for the record, I would love to have that conversation, but I would probably like to rewatch
One
the
day.
film if we want to do it ahead of that. Just
put a note on that.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
remember.
I'd love to talk about No Country for Old Men. It's a fucking great film.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it up until that point. I was like, this movie's great.
That's why I find it so fascinating. I feel like millions of people probably hate it for that reason, but also the other side of it, the fascinating aspect.
Oh yeah, apparently it's
Ultimate Blue Ball.
controversial, the ending. People didn't like it.
Also, someone just said like we don't need this stupid digression. It is like one of the most relevant digressions possible. We just had a point in the video about how it's anticlimactic and possibly like pulls the audience out when you have a character on a journey that ends abruptly. Then we cite one of the most commonly understood to be abrupt endings for a very famous film ever that's considered a masterpiece. Discuss whether or not it was well done. That would be the most relevant tangent ever, just for the record, okay?
I'd say No Country for Old Men in Brazil probably like the most abrupt endings probably of all time.
Yeah.
Season 7 and 8, our characters were suddenly
Monty Python,
surviving
Holy Grail.
things that these rules said that before they
Great movie.
probably shouldn't have.
Also, yes, he is correct. As Game of Thrones went on, people started surviving insane shit.
The plot armor got insane for a
The
show
armor
that's whole
stopped being
appeal was that
armor.
there is no plot armor. They
And you
even
can buy it a couple of times, but it was happening over and over and over. With
Oh god, the Sam part, yeah.
he's crying.
He's crying in the
crying
corner
part?
and a zombie
Oh,
grabs him
God.
and then we don't see him and then he's fine later. Just like,
God.
oh, okay.
I want to just point out one quick thing about Jorah. He was the person in the show that introduced us how armor works. That he blocked the blade and then hit the guy back, where you actually can see you get immersion. It actually works.
Yes.
And then season 8, the guy dies getting stabbed through plate armor. The
With a
person who
fucking-
showed us that armor works.
Zombie's
It's just the
knife,
worst-
it's so painful.
The worst
it's not
thing
fair.
ever. For anyone who's paying
Well-
attention to the details, like that's just a slap in the
Well,
face.
it's because he didn't wear a helmet.
True.
They got
But
it
then
in
we
the
couldn't
heart
see his
'cause he didn't
face.
wear
Then
a
we
helmet.
couldn't see the
Drunk
actor's
dragon.
face.
Dude, Jorah deserved to be killed by a White Walker. He should have been killed in a
100%.
big old boss fight. Not a fucking random white. That sucks.
Random death.
Well, I don't agree. Jorah's been cucked his whole life, so you know, kind of makes sense.
They're better.
Jorah
Whoa.
is bad. You're saying that because you hate Daenerys, right? I assume.
No, I'm saying he got cucked by Daenerys. He just got cucked his whole life by his wife, by
Well,
Daenerys.
he's
you know,
basically
so
the
it makes
archetype for
sense.
White Knight. He White Knighted throughout the whole series. But like,
Yep.
I don't know. I
He's
thought
what
he was.
Kristen Cole is eventually going to become.
I loved how fucking good he was as a fighter, and I don't.
No,
mind,
I
I don't
mean, I
mind a
love the
guy
character,
fighting for a lady. It's okay.
He was an understandable character. There's been millions of Jorahs. Like we could totally understand that guy, you know? Like and he was very consistent.
I wish.
And his death was so like it was suited but completely butchered at the same time. He should have died fighting for Daenerys, but not like a fucking moron.
Yeah. Well, there's so much.
Teleporting.
Erase that season.
Yeah, there's so much they fucked up.
The most egregious example being Arya stabbed several times.
That's possibly not the most egregious across the whole
It's
series,
not,
but
not even close.
but I understand him
I
choosing
mean,
it.
it's a bad one. It's a
bad
really
one, yeah.
bad one.
In the chest, the
Understandable.
stomach, chugged into the sewer water, and then fixed up pretty easily.
Okay,
after.
this is just he's not mentioning the chicken soup. I just feel like this is fucked up. Like,
The critical part of
Unsubscribe.
this.
come on, dude. You
Be
gotta be
fair.
honest.
Gotta be fair. Even if you don't like it, you gotta be fair.
This wouldn't be plot armor though in a lot of stories, you know. But
Her
it
not dying
feels
of
like
septic shock would be.
What does he mean? It wouldn't be plot armor in a lot of stories.
She should have died.
In what story would it
I
not be
think
plot
what
armor?
he's
Well, let's
appealing
find
to
out.
is Game of Thrones is a show where main characters die, but in other stories, that's not
But
much
that's
of an
because they
expectation.
die.
Well,
I
no,
can't
but
think
I,
of a
so that's, I
franchise
think
that
he's
is-
I think he's making a big meta argument here. I think it's
Are
like
you
the
saying
show
like
set up
a
an-
stab to the belly
the
in like
show-
the Flash show wouldn't mean much?
Yeah, because that's not a show where you expect main characters to die.
or-
But Game of
well,
Thrones
it's
told
like
you that main characters
But
would
I'd,
die.
I'd
you know?
still
I think
criticize that as
he's-
plot armor, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's making
Plot
a
armor
point about
regardless,
like
so-
We
with
would.
the
I don't know if
effect
he
of
would.
I think he's making a point about
Well,
the different
he'd be
worlds and
wrong.
how death is like contextualized in the series.
I
'Cause,
can't
you know,
think
like,
of a
you-
franchise or
yeah,
anything
you-
that
you-
is
You think about
bonkers
Avatar,
enough
it's
to do
like,
that.
okay, the Avatar dies, but then the Avatar is reborn, and then the Avatar can talk to like Roku, who's dead, you know, so the rules of death are different in that
well,
universe.
I wonder if that's because I think it is that he believes that the show set up an expectation that main characters will die. So if you see a main character get seriously hurt, this show should condition you to expect them to die. Whereas in other shows where that's not an expectation, they can survive crazy things.
But I would, if we just got a recent example with Sabine Wren getting stabbed through the chest by a lightsaber, even though it seems to be now that lightsabers stabbing people through the chest is not fatal. I still call that plot armor.
Oh yeah.
So the problem is, I think at that point,
people don't need apparently.
I think the problem at that point is, are we talking about the same things, or are we talking past each other? You know, like, would he agree with that? Would he agree with that framework? That it doesn't matter what the genre is, it doesn't matter what the expectations the story puts forth. If somebody gets hurt in a way that should kill them, they should die. You know?
Maybe this will be a good test question. Is John Wick plot armor, or has plot armor?
Not the
John
first
Wick
one.
is the fucking god of plot armor. I don't think there's any character, and I don't think
I have a
there's
feeling
any
I know what Sitch is
character.
saying. Like the existence of those things in universe deflecting bullets is one thing, but the fact that he never gets shot in any significant way and it doesn't do any force like damage at all, like that.
I'm just asking, would you? Because people, I mean, part of the reason we're watching the video, it says plot armor can be good, right? And I mean, everyone likes John Wick, so is that
We
just an
don't.
example of good plot armor?
We don't.
Or
Yeah,
do we not
I-
classify that as plot armor?
We don't like John Wick.
I would basically just say that
you
John
guys
Wick
don't like
is.
John Wick,
I don't think there's any character who has more plot armor than John Wick. I think
Mando?
after 3.
More than Mando?
Yes, I think so. I think Mando. I think if we talk about how many times he's shot at and the combat engagements he gets in, I wouldn't fault anyone for saying Mando, but I think John Wick has him beat in terms of sheer
So
amount of
it's-
shots and engagement he's in.
I'm with you. The thing to consider, of course, is that Mando's armor doesn't cover anywhere near as much of himself as John's does, but Mando's not in anywhere near as many death scenarios, I think, or fires as many bullets at him, right?
It's tough. I think
Yeah.
I could be swayed. I would have to double check, and maybe have to, I could probably calculate it, mathematically if I tallied up all the shots.
John dies. John dies. in
kill
John Wick
death ratio
4,
for
like,
John
7
Wick is
times.
like,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I think Star Wars blasters also not seeming to have a lot of kinetic property to them, being just like laser beams that seem
I
to
don't
just
think that.
kind of be
I don't think that
absorbed.
matters here. It's just sheer shot placement.
Even though it doesn't really make
And
sense.
for the
Maybe
record,
it's
we
combat.
understand he's got bulletproof suits. That does not solve the problem if you watch the film.
Yes,
slowly.
it helps, but it doesn't solve it. All
The
this is-
Rancor,
My-
the
my-
Rancor killed Mando like 5
Yeah.
times. He should have died.
Mando's a very close second in my mind, but I think John Wick is is the god of it, and I think the thing that pushes him over the edge to be the god of plot armor is that John Wick, the combatants trying to kill him will just not try and kill him when they need to. Like they'll physically start having conversations with him or things of that nature.
Just to
which is,
clarify, are you talking about the entire franchise or just highlighting?
Well, we don't. Not counting John Wick 1. John Wick 1 is a good movie.
Okay.
John Wick 2,
That's
3,
why
and
I've been
4
talking
are
John Wick
good.
1 does have that scene where they do have him tied up in a chair and then they don't just shoot him in the head.
Yeah, that's the weakest scene. I think.
I wish they took that scene out.
I don't know.
I can answer.
I can buy
answer
that
the
they
plot
would
armor
suffocate him
good
instead of
question.
splattering him. I can buy that.
buy it.
Can plot armor be good? Yes, Austin Powers.
As a parody of plot armor, plot armor can be good if it's a parody of itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I
wait,
suppose so.
Punch Man.
you like the
yeah,
first
yeah,
John Wick, Rex?
exactly.
That's the only one you like?
Yes, I only like the
Okay.
first one.
So but do you think he doesn't have plot armor in the first one?
I think in the first one he has significantly less.
Isn't
I
someone
need to
trying to
rewatch it to
He definitely has
check.
a little
In
bit.
John
for
Wick,
sure.
we clarifying? Sorry, John Wick.
In the first one.
Yeah. In the first
Yeah.
one, it's way fucking
got
better
some.
because getting shot in his body armor actually has consequences, and
Mm.
when he's thrown, I think 2 meters onto the ground, he suffers significantly.
Oh,
and in the
when
future
he-
films, he starts
yeah.
getting tossed out of fucking skyscrapers, and he gets up.
Yeah, it just gets
I think
ridiculous.
and I think in John Wick 1 he takes a lot more precautions to avoid being shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas in John Wick 2, 3, and 4 he doesn't really give a
Just
shit.
blankets that
Just
stupid
sort of-
fucking coat around and just walks. Like,
Yeah.
It's so hard to believe that he's the best at what he does when that's what we see him do.
Also, in 4, they started making him just grab his coattail and put it up over his face, and they didn't give him a long coat. He's still wearing just a normal
Well,
suit.
we talked about it when we watched it. Why not just wear the like a balaclava, right? Like wear it all. Why not? Why?
The bulletproof balaclava.
Why not?
I mean, and ironically,
It's true. If you have that material, why wouldn't you fully
In
cover it?
reality,
You
why
fully
not?
cover it.
But isn't that hilarious? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Well,
That's why
aesthetically, it
you
doesn't
remove
work.
those options and go back to him actually having skill. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
true.
man. That was the whole point of the first one.
Or they give them. They have actual. I mean, we have face masks that will save your life from being shot in the face by a bullet. Now you will be knocked the fuck out, and you're gonna have a nasty bruise, and it's gonna hurt for a long time, but you won't be dead. So having him dress up and wear that mask is could be a cool badass moment. Or
he's supposed to be so good, but he's never in a situation where 100 people are firing miniguns at him. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think the worst part of these franchises is when you see in the beginning of those franchises, people have significant amount of vulnerability, and it significantly declines over time. You know, when you start off at some point, you have to be consistent with it. Like with Star Wars, right? It's like an inside joke that stormtroopers can't shoot right? Because
it became an inside joke, but
yeah, it has been there from the beginning, and it's okay. It's
no,
fine
it hasn't been
with
there from the beginning.
Not from A New Hope.
A New Hope is clean because Vader orders them not to kill, and they actually perform really well in the 10 to 5 4.
They lost their mind in Vespa, I think, like Cloud City. They just went
Bespin?
crazy.
Yeah. We've talked about it a couple
of
of times. The 3 films you got pretty much fully working properly in A New Hope, and then it's 50-50 in Empire, and then it's just clowns in.
Return of the
Jedi. We don't even need to address that one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not to nitpick. Carry on.
From the original trilogy, I mean, I think, but yeah, I mean, when you see, especially in Game of Thrones, right, it just declines over time, and people get less and less vulnerable and more inclined to have a plot armor, and that's when it becomes a problem for me. I think if a franchise sets itself up to be like a fantastical thing, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but it's a matter of taste, right?
I think it's what he's getting at with the immersion stuff, right? It'll always annoy me, I think, but I can understand people being like, it's the stormtroopers, they never shoot anybody well, they're dumbasses. And then it's going to be funny the day that they actually need it as a payoff, and they shoot and they tag someone, and then you as a viewer be like, hey, they never...
Wait, what, an Andor? Like at the beginning of the heist, one of the guys just gets fucking killed?
Yeah, which is unfair to Andor. If people were like, Andor, you fuck it up, you're not supposed to have them accurate. It's like, I'm having them accurate as normal people. Like, fuck off.
Yes, they're normal with rifles that they've trained with. That dude's fucking dead if he's out there in the open.
Yeah, and that's why we want to push back on it. We never want it to be that you have to do it. Like, if someone incompetent before you made enough of a pattern of a character being a complete fucking idiot against all reason, it's not like you should have to continue that. That's not fair. Especially an entire force. Like, all of the stormtroopers are retarded. Like, really? And Taika Waititi tried to make that canon that they were retarded.
I gotta head out here, fellas. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you coming, dude. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Happy 250th episode, and have fun with the rest of the stream.
Thank you
very much. We will. Thanks for showing up.
Sir.
Yeah, I'll try to listen to what I can as you guys keep going. So.
Thanks. We will see you later.
All right. Peace, boyos.
Toodaloo.
Boy.
He did a good video on the freebooting situation recently.
He did. I watched it. It was fun.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I still haven't yet.
Gotta get onto it.
Very funny. Had me laughing out loud a couple times.
Yeah, he does good. He does good stuff.
We like that act guy.
Yeah.
Funman.
He's all right.
Onions.
Stomach chugged into the sewer water and then fixed up pretty easily afterwards. This wouldn't be plot armor though in a lot of stories, but it feels like it is here because it breaks the established rules of Game of Thrones, and more importantly, it undermines the tension that the show originally had. Calling plot armor...
Like I said, I do think this is I think it is a meta argument more so.
Yeah, he's talking about the history of this show doesn't do this, therefore it's contradictory to its own inner universe, but...
Yeah, not necessarily that it contradicts the rules of being stabbed in the gut and getting thrown into sewer water.
But the interesting question for him then would be, how many years do we have to treat it like a clown show before the clown show aspect is okay?
Right, exactly. If it sets up a rule and then it contradicts it, and then it goes from there with the contradicted rule.
I don't even think he's necessarily making an argument. I think he's talking about he's just commenting on reality, that people find this more egregious when they're used to a show that doesn't treat it this way.
He did say that this wouldn't be plot armor in most other stories.
If he means strictly from the perspective of an audience, I'm inclined to say that he's got some level of a point, but that we wouldn't agree with him. We call it plot armor every time, whether or not.
I think he needs to provide an example of what he's referencing. This would be okay.
In my head, that's plot armor anywhere, everywhere.
I think he might be ramping up to it.
All at once.
I think so.
Well,
he brought up the Flash. I bet you that the big observation with the Flash is it's a really stupid clown show. where there's no expectation of this type of consistency.
Glyder just
but
says,
again, if it
earlier in that season, Roose Bolton does die from one knife stabbed to the same area, so...
Right, so that would lend more to his point then, right, of expectations in the show and universe and everything?
Technically, he was appealing to earlier seasons, but you could argue it's the exact same season, so at that point it's just complete incompetence, which, there's no secret about that.
Is really saying that there's no real tension in these scenes anymore. Daredevil, on the other hand, goes out of its way to show how Matthew Murdock will come away with sustained injuries when he fights.
Yep. You can bet your ass people are going to compare to this when we don't see it in She-Hulk.
Yep.
Wow.
She-Hulk.
The
way that my brain contextualizes that, you could already tell.
The new Daredevil.
It's one of the best.
She-Hulk.
Well, I guess we'll see, right? I'm very.
That is what I'm thinking going in, and I'm willing to be proven wrong, as I was with Andor. But yeah, I have low hopes for Disney Plus Daredevil.
I will say I'm very nervous too. I'm not very optimistic about that.
Play the game Sifu with the Daredevil mod, and that'll be all you need.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of the best parts about the hallway fight in episode 2 is that he gets tired. He gets really tired by the end.
It's a simple
getting tired.
idea, but it's incredibly effective.
It's so good when you make them not invincible and invulnerable and infinite stamina. They
reminder that they're humans.
Yep, exactly. Because
Vi was the same thing.
Yeah,
Vi and Arcane. When's the last time you've seen someone bleed out from a stab wound? They just make people invincible, and it's like it's nice to actually have a fresh, reminder of these things.
Arcane's so good.
Well, that's what sucks about Arcane Season 2 is open. They're going to have to give some people plot armor. They got no choice almost.
They're going to have to explain something. Yeah. There has to be some explanation.
Good luck.
You wrote yourself into this, so I'm going to assume you knew what you were doing.
I feel like they can explain Jace having the tech to have protected himself.
Yeah,
I assume it's going to be Minerva, what's their name again? Madada?
Some type of reveal.
Madada has that little reflection-y thing going on. I think there's a power that she may have that we haven't been told about yet. There's a chance of that. It also could just be that they fucking blow it up and they go, yeah, some people died, some people didn't. Shut up. Like, okay.
I suppose like League of Legends is a world in which people do have powers that they sometimes are not telling other people about. So,
it's a way to get it in.
Yeah, I mean...
Sona heals the little music thing. I don't even know how many people here would get that reference, but yes.
A Morgana shield.
Morgana shield.
Even if he's just going up against random nameless goons. Now, we don't think that he will die, it's not that sort of show, but getting paralyzed is certainly on the cards in a way that Marvel or Doctor Who or the CW Gimsuits just don't really play with.
Kind of funny that that's the case, right? That Marvel doesn't do. It's a Marvel show.
Not only that, but Marvel did used to play with this. Civil War paralyzed Rhodey.
That's exactly. And people died. Like Quicksilver.
Yeah.
He references it's not that sort of show, and that it's Netflix's Daredevil, and you're showing a scene from like the 3rd episode, maybe, or like how far in is that hallway fight?
That's episode 2.
2, yeah. So there you go. I mean, Daredevil's probably not going to die in the 2nd episode of season 1 of his show that released on Netflix. So all 13 episodes are out right now.
Well, to be fair, he did say that we have no expectation of him dying, but that being paralyzed isn't off the cards, which is true.
He could get really hurt.
I mean, in episode 2.
Well, yeah, to be fair, paralyzed can go as far as like losing feeling in your arm or something.
He gets really when he fights. I think it was Nobu. He gets that. He is in bad shape at the end of that fight. He is really in trouble.
Oh well, see, I think though that the stakes in this fight, though, I think of him getting tired and how that has an effect on the stakes, I think is less about we're thinking something legitimately bad might happen to Matt Murdock, and more it's no, this is him just doing his normal superhero thing. But he's just a guy who's really good at fighting.
I think I agree with him that it can set up an expectation, for people of how much can he take.
Yeah.
If he's getting tired fighting these guys, what happens when he fights like a crazy skilled, basically his equal?
Well, that's the thing. It sets the stakes in a way that I think is pretty reasonable. So what I was disagreeing with was him saying that we would have to have in our head any type of reasonable expectation of this fight being one in which Matt Murdock could lose to a degree that it would be catastrophic to the character, like this early into a TV show.
Yeah,
right?
but are we calling it plot armor that he gets so beaten up throughout Daredevil and like isn't paralyzed and isn't dead?
I mean, maybe to a degree. Like, I mean, that aspect, the medical treatment aspect of plot armor can always be kind of tricky because there's plenty of things where it's like, hey, if you hit a person in the head as hard as that guy got hit, he would not just be knocked out. He has a traumatic brain injury and is probably dead or a vegetable unless he was immediately brought to an ER. But
right.
so, and not ER, the person to.
I can fix him.
Oh, ER would fix him up right good.
Can I fix him? No, I can't.
Like, one character in Arrow is paralyzed and then is magically cured like 4 episodes later. Each of
I don't want to give any sense of credit to Arrow, but I feel like you have told us everything there, right? Have you given us all the context there? Because Arrow
magically, I
almost feel like it's like, was there more to it than that? I feel like one person in chat will be like, "Hey, no, it made more sense than that." But who knows? It is Arrow. I don't know.
These create different expectations around death and tension, and that's okay. I mean, you look at anime and there's wildly different rules around death and injury and pain, right? But going back on the rules that you establish can rob a story of tension and immersion, because we get drawn into a story by being convinced that there are stakes, that things matter, right? And
so is this leading to the idea of as long
I don't know where he's going.
I mean, I agree with what he said. I don't see.
I'm basically figuring out if there's anything I disagree with there. I think that's all clean. I think I agree.
I'm waiting for the butt. Like, it feels like he's building up to a butt.
I do like butts.
Yeah.
Boy.
What you said mattered before no longer matter. It's and people say plot armor. It's usually okay to make the rules of death harsher, but a lot more difficult to make them easier. It's often connected to flanderization, where characters become more extreme versions of themselves, and power creep. Video on that. So ask yourself, what expectations do you give your readers?
Why'd you do? Why? What was that sound?
I just saw something that I disliked, and I couldn't help but make an auditor.
Also, I would have recommended to him. I wouldn't want to involve those concepts alongside this one. We're already, like I said, clarity. I don't want to mix in other things like power creep and flanderization alongside plot armor and where we find it. You know.
Yeah,
I understand what he's trying to say is that they can appear or diminish in the same vein. Just I don't know.
He is kind of referring to all anime as if it's Dragon Ball Z, though. Like, I mean,
but even Dragon Ball Z,
always just say anime and summarize them all under one umbrella. It's like they're so different.
Well, you said an anime, there's all kinds of different shit going on.
It seems like he's talking about like shonen, where people are gonna be thrown against a mountain and still kind of like get back up, but that's not every fucking anime.
Exactly. Death Note, you're dead. It's like that's more
relevant. Medium. It's not even a genre.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's a medium, but people treat it like it's a genre that's like all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think you should make sure it's, you have good recommendations, but and be picky with certain animes. Don't just go into any of them. But to treat them all like they're the same thing is nonsense. Like some of them are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, welcome, Weekend Warrior.
Hello.
I agree.
Hey.
Hello.
Not all anime is good. I agree.
I agree. I also agree.
Did you guys see how hard it was for him to say that?
A little bit.
Super picky with anime.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I try to be accepting of all anime, but sometimes you gotta stump some shit down.
A little bit of bigotry.
Yeah. You gotta keep your own house clean.
Hell's Paradise is a recent one I enjoyed quite a lot.
Oh hell yeah! I recommend that also.
If you want to grab the Watch Together link and join us, we're watching a video all about plot armor.
It's a Hell's Paradise VR. It's a kind of like
Raku, Hell's Paradise. Yeah,
it's sort of like that Natalie Portman movie Annihilation, but way better.
Okay.
I'd be down for a better version of that movie. That movie was
I would.
Everybody would be.
Seriously. That bear scene, every other scene, but
bear scene was
the
good shit.
reference. Yeah,
no, the bear scene's not good either. Think about it at all.
Oh no,
disgusting.
Cappy to steal people's feelings.
I'm sorry. I'm going to steal all those feelings. Give them to me.
Hating on the bear, man.
Walk him away in the chest.
Because the bear's stupid and it makes no sense. Sorry.
How is it stupid?
Go for it. How's it stupid? Do it.
I gotta elaborate now.
because they spend the whole thing being like, "Oh, you guys can't make any noise. Oh my god, if you make any noise, the bear's gonna get you." And then they're making a ton of noise, and like what the bear's motivations make.
They were stupid, not the bear.
What is the bear's motivation?
It doesn't have one, really.
Oh,
cocaine.
All right.
I genuinely can't remember. I just remember the screamy bear.
The bear screamed, and the girls were dumb. Like I don't remember how do you condemn the bear for that?
Legit, the only thing I take
I'm
away
talking
from
about
it
the
is
bear scene,
the creepy and effective concept of like a mutant, like murky bear creature that's raw is screams. That shit was
screaming and like
good shit. But like obviously, in terms of I have quite a hatred for Annihilation and its construction as a script, so I'd probably be inclined to agree if I was given all the references again. But I don't know. I have to watch that movie.
I'm not calling the bear itself stupid. I'm talking about the bear sequence.
Well, bears are stupid. So
the premise of this show, where they're going to the kind of hell, like Paradise Lost type scenario, is death row inmates who are each being brought by a samurai who is their executioner, and their thing is come back with the elixir of life that's supposed to grant eternal life, or the samurai kills you.
Yeah,
and they have to work out their differences, and
and some wacky misadventures.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it ends on a high note. Like it didn't. Unlike some like popular mangas, when mangas get popular, they try to extend the lifespan of the anime or the manga just for shits and giggles, just to make more money out of it. But I respect that they ended it at the right time.
You're talking about milk it.
Oh yeah, and the manga and that, if they're gonna adapt the anime, they're gonna like do more or less the manga art.
Rian Johnson.
Season 1 of the anime ends pretty solid. It's a good one season so far, I'd say.
They didn't complete the whole manga yet. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. It seems like it's up for season 2.
I just recommend Jigoku Raku as the original version, as it were. Like,
right on.
So, it's a good. I'm not surprised that it's a good anime anyway. So it's just a good manga.
The story, and does any given survival contradict in-world logic that you have demonstrated? And, carefully, this includes Part 3, inconsistent characterization. The hero just blitzes through thousands of minions with lives and dreams of their own, but the moment they get to the killing genocidal maniac at the top, suddenly...
This is the wrong visual, my man.
This
the
is
wrong visual.
It's wrong visual. Why are you playing this?
You are making a point.
Visual issues.
You are making a point that could be applied to a lot of other stories, but not this one. All of the minions, whatever, but the villain who was actually responsible for all of it in the greatest harm. But not like,
and
can I just point out that you just grabbed the most random videos and clips?
Well, because part of the problem is like
just
killing the edgy troopers that don't have a consciousness seemingly.
Yeah, why did he? Oh, it's so wrong in so many levels. Because if the point is just the hero is so good, he gets rid of all of these amazing warriors. But when he gets to the leader amazing warriors, suddenly he's not as good anymore. I understand what he's trying to say. It's a decent idea for a trope. These visuals are just horrendously chosen. These two scenes don't even have anything to do with each other. He does defeat Vader, so I don't know why you're using that as a visual.
No. I don't know if he's going to say. I don't know if is it going to be about defeating them, or is it about the choices that they make about sparing them, killing them?
Let's roll back a sec.
Let's see.
Part 3, inconsistent characterization. The hero just blitzes through thousands of minions with lives and dreams of their own, but the moment they get to the killing genocidal maniac at the top, suddenly, I can't do it. I'll be no.
But that's still horrible because that's his fucking dad versus the soulless robots.
Again, it's still not the right example because it's like super central to.
You know what he needs to do? Have The Last of Us 2 as a visual.
Ignoring too much context.
The Last of Us 2.
And I point
The
out,
The Last of Us 2 is perfect. Yeah, it is absolutely perfect.
The best
All of these people who had nothing to do with anything, but then you get to the one person who was actually responsible and you let them go.
I think
that's the weird thing. I was that pointed comment about these people have lives and dreams of their own. That's the Last of Us 2 thing.
Yeah, because the robots they're just robots. There's nothing.
Robots don't have dreams. They have no consciousness. Now, remember, these aren't the ones. These aren't like the ones on the trolley.
No,
on the thing. They don't have dreams of a.
Remember, these are the dubstep robots. They just go.
Yeah, and again, these are different stories. These are totally different stories.
Yeah.
This takes place after this.
Yeah, I know. This is what I mean. I could imagine him being like, "Dude, calm down. I'm just showing robots, and I'm showing like a leader. Okay, that's all it's supposed to be interpreted as."
Yeah, these visuals are hypothetical, guys.
Maybe that's why he had Luke at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like there's 2 times he's misused Luke, young Luke and old Luke.
Yeah, I would just be like, please never use that to illustrate the point ever again.
And at the end of the Last of Us 2, Abby was like, "Ellie, I'm your mother." Would that
better than the bad guy? Well, boo-hoo, Janet, you're already 10 times worse. It's always obvious, isn't it?
It's so bad too, because if his point was about how, Luke cut through a bunch of innocent people without realizing that they're all people too, just like his dad, you'd be like, yeah, but that is his dad. Like, you'd have to actually have special consideration for family members. That's just human.
Fighting against stormtroopers that were trying to kill him, that are trying to oppress the entire galaxy.
Stormtroopers are enemy combatants in a war, so
this is his dad. This is what I mean. Like, it's not even just generic evil leader. This is his father. Like, that actually does have weight.
Yes.
Isn't it when a character either 1, inexplicably acts differently, or 2, the character is suddenly incompetent?
That visual was very fucking confusing there. The Snowpiercer one, I'm not even sure what I was supposed to grab from that.
I find it interesting that the text said Snowpiercer because presumably most people don't know what that is. So it's just like, well, better let them know. Everybody knows
you didn't
about
put it
Luke,
here for
nobody
Return
knows
of the Jedi.
Genuine question. What am I supposed to grab from the visual, though?
Worse. It's always obvious, isn't it, when a character either 1, inexplicably acts differently, or 2, the character is suddenly incompetent compared to before?
It's like... Oh, those visuals
I'm
didn't
very
help.
confused.
The thing is,
plot armor.
I guess it's a form of plot armor if you had 2 people fighting and one of them should obviously win, but is suddenly incompetent for no reason. One could argue it's a form of plot armor.
Yeah,
I thought he was just talking about making the decision.
Luke hesitating about killing his father is not incompetence.
And it's not even plot armor because
this is what I mean.
Anyway,
his choice of visuals, his choice of visuals really fuck up the interpretation, I think.
Well,
it's not even just the visuals.
I would have liked this video more if I found out he had a third-party editor and that he actually did.
Yeah, I was about to say. It looks like he's probably has somebody else editing these things and
slapping them in. Why do people do that?
Oh wait, Cap, what were you saying about the?
It was lazy.
It's not just the visuals. He's started talking about how the trope of mowing down faceless or nameless enemy combatants, but then not killing the big main bad guy. What does that have to do with plot armor?
The impression I got was you saying your skill level should denote that he should take out that leader easily, but he for some reason doesn't, and we all know the meta reason is that the big boss fight has to be longer.
I think you just said before you paused that there's 2 explanations. One is the character motivated choice of they are acting out of character by sparing the villain after killing all of the henchmen, and then 2 was incompetence, that they're just suddenly not good anymore at what they do. So I think he's saying that both of those are plot armor to save the villain, I think?
Yeah, it's
or to
plot armor for the villain.
Yeah, to make it longer.
Yeah. I think it'd be less confusing if he instead of framing it from the hero killing the villain characters,
absolutely.
that it's usually like there's some villain who's like killing all like the random good guy soldiers. Then when he gets the hero, he has to tie him up or spare him or whatever. That would be the plot armor.
Maybe he'll bring that one up later, though.
Well, I mean, he's got James Bond here tied in the chair, so I assume
which
that's
is a classic example.
And it's all because they clearly need to keep this other person alive for plot reasons. Frustrating, and it destroys immersion. It reminds me that I am.
You are making a point. You are making a point that is valid for examples other than the one that you brought up.
Yeah, like I said, those Star Wars visuals almost completely fuck this whole thing up.
Because I do agree with this. Again, The Last of Us 2 is the prime example.
Yeah, that was insanely stupid.
Yeah, but even that, would you call it plot armor or just like stupid?
Abby has plot armor, sure.
I think what we would call it is character assassination, but you could be like, and it happens to protect Abby's life. So it's
that'd be a way to put it.
Not that I'm like reading,
because let's say for example, a giant steel box fell from fucking space and prevents Ellie from killing Abby. It's like, oh, so that's just plot armor. Doesn't have anything to do with Ellie's character. But if she chooses not to kill him for no fucking reason at all, or at least an out of character reason, then yeah, it does protect Abby, but it's characterization assassination.
Well, I haven't played Last of the Two. The villain you play is the villain at the end, right?
For a third of the plays Ellie at the end.
Yeah.
Basically, the simplest way to put it is that Abby kills Joel, Ellie kills many, many, many people who were not involved, and then lets go the person who actually did it.
Because she learned that violence is a cycle, and she needs to stop it.
Yeah.
Even though I guess what I'm getting is
there on the spot. Like,
even though she's already perpetuated it to a degree that
it's one of the funniest
to, like, resolve.
Examples of like the theme just completely contradicting all the events of the game.
Good old ludonarrative dissonance.
I brought it up.
Arya and the Hound all over again. Just suddenly she's not a killer. Like, it's ridiculous.
I brought it up as a joke, but honestly, if Abby says to Ellie at any point, "Abby, I'm your mother," it honestly makes the story a little better.
Maybe.
with
killer at
with Arya, she was intentionally not killing the Hound, like, because she's a dick, not because she was sparing him.
No, Cersei. I'm talking about in the Bells
Oh.
episode. And suddenly, don't kill. Like, she's killed more people for vengeance, like, than he has.
Yeah,
like,
it's ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, she's committed at this point. It wasn't about making her. They fucked Arya so hard. That's one of the smallest parts of that episode that, like, a lot of people just don't even factor in. Just destroy.
Because everything's so bad, it's like hard to see, sift through the sea of shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some prophecy right there. Her
Game of
killing,
Thrones?
like, with the area. No,
With her killing
the
who?
eyes.
They changed that.
Color of
They
the
literally changed the wording of the eye thing. It wasn't for Arya. It was not. They changed the wording to try to make it apply to Arya. I remember that. It's the first video I ever made. It was on The Long Night.
Actually, you're wrong, because she
wording.
said she closed blue eyes, and that is the Night King's eyes, so it's set up right in season 2.
Oh God, that's what they meant.
No. That's what I'm talking about. They say it earlier in the season, but the wording of what they say is changed in season 8. It's
I'm just
like
memeing anyway.
Oh, okay. It's like the secret
Bro,
word
I
thing where
fucking
they
hate everything about season 8, okay?
Justify my crazy Last of Us mother take, though. You'd at that point have Ellie's biological mother being the killer of Joel, which would actually give Ellie a pretty difficult thing to have to grapple with. Especially if she'd never known her biological mother, you know?
It's better than what they cooked up, that's for fucking sure.
In the story, I feel like I could buy her not killing Abby at the end way better than I did by the time I finished that game.
You know, Artemis.
Sorry, I gotta pause it real quick. So,
Hey, based.
I'm worried that we're spending a long time talking about different kinds of plot armor and why they're bad, and it's like, yep. When is it going to be good though? I'm worried he's going to say, oh, the less the story, you know, the more like The Flash and the less like Game of Thrones, the more okay it is when people survive incredible nonsense.
Yeah,
I think he's already basically said that.
I don't think that. But he's shout on The Flash. And nobody's going to be defending The Flash as like good or anything. It looked to me like the Daredevil was the example that was good.
But why is that plot armor?
No, I don't. I think we need to go further before we can figure out exactly what his plans are on that front.
All right.
I'm not sure exactly where he's going, even though I would have like checked this out.
This foul and going, man, what a great non-fiction story. You know what I mean? But sometimes there's this like anti-plot armor, and I love it when this happens. In a story where characters who are meant to be safe, you know, it's a lighter tone, and they're
okay, because this feels like a meta thing of like you wouldn't kill a child when it should be that if the child is in a position in the writing that they would die from the thing you've made happen. I wouldn't call it anti-plot armor. That's just consequence.
I'd just be like, oh, they killed a kid.
Well, it's like anti-trope, you know, armor, I guess.
I think it's subverting expectations.
I'd rather go with subversion,
Yeah.
Killed in a really shocking way that you didn't think would happen. That can be really powerful if you play your cards right.
Oh, is this Bridge to Terabithia?
As soon as I saw the swing.
Is so
I was about to
heartbreaking.
say,
Is this tonal whiplash?
Read the book.
A world that felt
I read the
real
book
and
too
safe
in
was
grade
suddenly
school.
torn apart, you know, like a rope suddenly snapping, and a main character is just killed off screen. That tonal shift delivers the themes and emotions of the story so damn well, but I think that actually most of the time it's less about
Discount
breaking your own rules and it's more about part 4, the audience doesn't buy into the type of tension you're relying on. Let us return for a moment to the cesspit that is the CW superhero genre. When I was watching,
he definitely doesn't think highly of the Flash.
Definitely thinks they're crap.
How dare you insult
Hey,
me?
these guys look great. I bet they're super fast.
Look at them go.
They are pretty fast. They're called Zoom rags.
Really? What? No,
They're all
really.
called Zoom?
That's their name.
They're called
Zoom.
They're Zoom.
What?
Oh,
They're
I think that's Zoom. Yeah, that's Zoom, isn't it?
Hey, Sitch, you like them?
Do they do zoomies?
Wait, what?
They zoom around really fast.
You like
pay
that?
for them.
Outfits.
The KKK faction of the Zooms.
Or am I? Wait, is Godspeed?
The Godspeed.
Okay.
Wow, Fring, get your flash law right.
They're called
Yeah.
Godspeed in a way that's actually worse.
Wait,
It is worse. Yeah.
Godspeed, good speed.
Damn it! God damn it!
They're both pretty shit.
I'd rather be
They're
called Zoom than
Halos.
Godspeed.
Wait, what's
Yeah.
who is Zoom? Hold on, who was that?
Zoom
That's
is
the kid that was in the Mazda
It's
commercials.
JD's brother.
Yeah, zoom.
Zoom.
There's a deep
right.
cut.
Zoom.
Oh wow,
Remember
Zoom
that.
is very edgy.
Yeah, he's
As edgy as Godspeed.
He
He's
is
like-
edgier.
God, these costumes suck.
Wow, what? What do you mean? I can't wait to watch
dare
this.
you.
And we can
How
watch
dare
it on
you.
Fast Clips, youtube.com/. Check it out.
They like. I feel like at
This
this level
is
they had to intentionally make this look as shitty as possible for this TV show.
How
I
dare
think
you.
they might legitimately be old Power
That is
Ranger.
very-
Oh, that is an edgy boy. And his
He
name
is
is
edgy.
Zoom. He doesn't look
Yes.
like a Zoom. Zoom is
Professor
like
Zoom.
Zoom feels like Zoom feels like a. Oh, that's my car. That's my car. That's a 2004 Mazda Speed Miata. That's the
There
car I
you
drive.
go.
Yeah.
Wait,
but
I've only seen the first season of Flash. I thought the bad guy in the first season was Zoom.
Oh, that's also
Isn't the-
Zoom.
That's
Yeah,
also
more than one
he
Zoom?
feels like
Yeah.
like a character from Static
Yeah.
Shock or something. He doesn't.
Well, 'cause
He doesn't seem like a
remember, you got-
character from
You got Reverse Flash. He's
Static
the
Shock.
big old
Yeah,
bad
it was
guy.
Reverse Flash. Yeah.
that's
And all of these
Zoom,
lads
and
are
then
people that
Godspeed.
go fast.
They-
Zoom
well,
is-
except for Captain Cold, he doesn't go very
That was
fast.
the only good
Captain
thing
Cold
about that
slows the
show
Flash
was-
down. That
Wait,
bastard.
That's right.
So
he does.
I'm confused. So Zoom is different from Reverse Flash. Am I understanding?
Yeah, I
that?
think so. Yeah, They're different
Obviously.
I thought they were the
Jeez.
same guy.
I'm
I,
absolutely
yeah, I
Someone
thought
does
they were
it.
the same
confused.
guy. Yeah.
Dude, someone just said like no ball. Professor Zoom
Yeah,
is
we're not
Reverse
done with you.
Flash. Like, oh god, this is getting too
I mean, Reverse
difficult
Flash
to
is the-
understand.
The worst name for a character.
Professor
Well, yeah.
Flash, zoom in.
Wait, which one? When you say we would say a lot of really dumb names, you're gonna have to be
Reverse
specific.
Flash. That should
Reverse
mean
Flash
that
is
that should
dumb,
mean he's
yeah.
slow. He's like, oh, he's Reverse Flash. He's very slow.
No, he's evil
Yeah.
Flash. That's what that means.
So he's
Oh.
actually moving
Bizarro
back.
Or he only
Flash.
walks
Flash is
backwards.
good, and he's good. He's bad.
He
Or
runs
goes back in
backwards.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs backwards. Like
he runs very fast, but only backwards.
oh, he's like the chick from Malignant.
no, he's
Oh,
like in
no.
Tenet. He's just stuck going backwards forever.
I was shockingly entertained by *Malignant*. I don't
Oh,
know.
so are we.
So
it
are
was
we.
a very entertaining movie.
Kinda wild, man.
It was shit, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
Jury's still out on whether or not it's a parody.
I mean, it's like they had to know what they were doing, right?
I don't know.
How could they
I don't
not?
know.
By the end of that movie, I feel like there's no way they weren't self-aware that they were making a ridiculous film.
You never know.
You know,
Ryan Johnson thinks he makes good movies, so who knows?
it's just dumb.
It was constantly asking me to worry whether a character
Oh,
might
they're
get hurt
just
or
in some
die, and
parking
that
lot
was really
in
the only real
Vancouver.
tension in the
He
story.
throws.
But I knew that they'd be fine.
Oh my
because the
God.
gambles were they got hurt, it was short-lived, and it just felt like Barry.
What is
Oh,
this?
wow.
What is that?
What?
Oh, that
sorry.
looks bad.
Oof.
It's horrendously the fastest man.
What's this?
It's voodoo. It's voodoo
Epic
Flash.
episode.
Also, what is it? Capture Comics Flash Clips Season 7.
Where
Okay.
he stole or lifted this.
It looks
He
like a crack
recorded
Bandicoot
these and
film.
then he put them on his YouTube channel and
My
then he put
God.
a watermark on his shit to be like, yeah, I'm the one who took these from the show. So
Man on Earth
whatever.
was just inconsistently
We just don't
incompetent depending on who he faced.
They have lightning
So-
swords.
They have
What the
lightsabers,
fuck?
yeah.
They have lightning
I remember people sharing this shit.
Speed Force
Yeah.
lightsabers.
Excuse
Get
me,
it
they're
right.
speed. Yeah, they're Speed Force sabers.
God, his outfit looks like shit.
I know.
Everything
Walmart.
looks like shit.
It looks like the mesh on some of my like Under Armour shirts.
I feel like that was
Good.
way worse than some of the costumes from this show that I've seen.
His face is the face I make when I look at this show.
A little bit.
The tension and the scenes as a whole fell flat.
Oh my
Lightsaber.
God.
Maybe your story is kind of the same. The story, or just an individual scene, doesn't feel very tense because readers know that they're going to make it out alive. How do you manage that? Well, one, you've got to show us that the character can lose. Plot armor often comes from a pattern of successes in unlikely situations. Even
It's so
Oh man,
distracting.
he made another one.
It's so bad.
I know.
It's really difficult.
Like, because I think I agree with what he was talking about. Like,
What am I
yeah,
looking
people have
at?
got to believe your character can lose. Sure, yeah.
Oh, the white Power Ranger is
I
fighting.
was on board with what you
Yeah.
said. Foot Clan.
And
It's a Foot Clan
Ninja
ninja.
Turtles.
Yeah, Foot Clan ninja. That's what's going on here.
The only impression that I get from this is Daredevil. There's a reason why they made a television show about a ground level, superhero who doesn't have any crazy like powers or anything going on, because you just don't have the budget. You just don't have the money.
I don't know
You
why they
don't
don't
have
lean
it
into
to
that.
realize the vision. Yeah.
I swear, Gary's been
Just
saying
look
this for
ground
years.
level.
Why haven't we had a Batman series, like a proper Batman
Well,
series? where
it's,
ground
it's
level and
because
ground
the
level?
CW would never be allowed to have Batman. All
Not
they
the
get is
CW.
Batwoman. Oh, what? You mean like a real,
A proper one, like a fucking HBO.
Are you
something,
saying
like-
Gotham Knights isn't a proper Batman show? Excuse me.
They're only allowed to have the Batman
Wow.
kind of around in the background, and then for that one episode that was really scary, where
You're
they
only
had
allowed
the
to fucking kill him.
fake Bruce Wayne. That was pretty terrifying for an episode there. But then they got rid of him in the premiere. That was good. That was a good
Yeah.
decision.
He was
Get
out
rid of
quick.
him was good. I thought he was going to be around for a whole season.
Yeah, that was the
and gonna
episode
drive
where-
me mad.
Tom
I gotta-
Welling getting a cameo was the only thing that was cool of that Infinite shit that you guys were watching.
I think I have to,
yeah, right. Because I
have to go back and watch some '90s Power Rangers just to recalibrate myself after seeing
Yeah.
Go Power Rangers.
Well,
Go,
getting back to what he was
Power
saying,
Ranger.
Go,
Why would you want to do that, Cap?
because I have thoughts about it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Can we not? Can we just mock?
Because
About
the
Power
fun?
Rangers? Wait, you have thoughts on Power Rangers? Sorry.
no, I have
What
thoughts
Power
on
Ranger
what
was the
our friend
best
here
Power
is
Ranger?
saying.
Obviously, the Green Ranger. He had a talking little sword.
Yeah, I mean, that is objectively true.
Talking
he
sword.
also
So
have
did but Dave the Barbarian had a talking
You had
sword.
the flute.
Yeah, he had
And he had,
Dragon
he had a
flute.
Godzilla flute. That's right.
I had that toy.
His dragon
Green
sword.
Ranger's
Hell
evil.
yeah.
Wait, why
legit
did
had
he have
that
a
toy.
flute to summon a
To
Godzilla
summon the
mech?
dragon, man.
Yeah, how does that
Why
make
the
any
fuck?
sense?
What, you're
How
not going
it
to yell
works.
for
Why
him?
the fuck not?
None of them else had
You're
like.
supposed to just be like, "Hey," like what are you expecting to do?
Yeah.
Hey, come here.
You can safely say, and I'm actually not joking. The Green Ranger is the only character on that entire show that had an arc.
Really?
And it
That
was
is
remember that.
probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
bad
evil,
guy,
then
and then
he
he
became
became
evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Wasn't-
I don't know. I'd have to
Probably
see the.
more
I have to see
complex
Power Rangers again to know. I don't know if
He
any of the
became
other
white
ones
when he
did.
was good, which seems kind of racist, but yeah.
You're just saying that because you're black.
No, he didn't become the White Ranger right away. That was when they like rebooted the
Oh,
show.
was it? I don't remember.
Doesn't he also have a saber cat that talks?
Yeah, his little dagger had like a little tiger face that would talk.
Yeah, and it
That's when he became the
him.
White Ranger.
Oh, okay.
It was the
You
dragon.
obviously have watched this far more recently than I have.
Yeah, you're up to date, dude.
No, I watched it at the age where I would watch things like 30 times. I remember a lot of Simpsons for
Okay.
very similar reasons around this.
Yes. As do I. As does
Vulcan Skull, I think, were the names of the two.
Oh my God! No, Scully.
yeah.
What is Scully or Skull?
Scully was X
From
Files, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vulcans.
Absolutely.
Mully and Skulder.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Rita Repulsa? Remember her?
She turned into that lady who made the Charlie's Angels movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
What? That's her?
Rita
Rita she was free.
Repulsa.
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, that's the
That-
God,
one.
I would have. Jeez, I would have fucked the shit out of her.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in 40-Year-Old Virgin for the first time. It was like, wow, yeah, that's definitely that would be top of the list, Steve Carell. Give up on the eBay lady.
Well, yeah, but she's also like tarnished by the fact that she ruined JD's life in Scrubs.
Yeah, I mean that's true also.
Wait, I'm so
we
confused. This
talking
person,
about?
this Elizabeth Banks?
It's so funny.
thought she
I
was
followed
Asian.
all of that completely, but the people who haven't followed enough of it like will just be lost because of the
Yeah,
amount of
wait a
references.
Muller, I don't think we've ever spoken about
What, Rita
Scrubs.
Repulsa from Power Rangers was in Scrubs?
Yes.
No, she played
I
Rita
thought she was.
Yeah, she was in
Asian.
Scrubs.
No, she was in the new
The
movie. not
keywords are Elizabeth Banks that connects all of those things.
The Rita Repulsa in the original show was a Japanese woman that never spoke a word of English because
That's why
they
I'm very confused.
But Elizabeth Banks played her in the new version of Power Rangers that no one liked.
and I was tracking you, but yeah, that
Oh
was.
wait,
She's
Rita
terrible.
Repulsa was in the
Changing my
2017.
childhood. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
here?
she was in the new Power Rangers movie.
Oh
She
God,
was
she
back
looks.
up.
Oh, I never
She
saw
was
that movie because of course I didn't.
terrible.
But I'm looking at pictures of her.
No one
and-
liked it.
Oh yeah. Here, let me
the
get you a picture.
You're
the whole movie's
cringe.
bad, but the first 90 minutes of the movie are kind of not worth watching at all, and then the last half hour of the movie just The last half hour of the movie is seriously just a super big budget episode of the old Power Rangers show.
Nice.
That's all it is. It's no better than any of those episodes, but it's definitely looks like it costs a lot more money.
So
that's Rita Repulsa in the 2017 one.
Yeah,
that's Elizabeth Banks. It's not like her at all.
That sucks. She looks like a weird Poison Ivy ripoff.
I'll go with the original, man. That girl went ham.
Yeah,
It looks like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck this new one at all.
Ranger is quite attractive in that film, though.
She's certainly
Isn't the Pink Ranger usually pretty? Aren't they all pretty?
Yeah,
like
that is a tradition. That
if I put in the words
never
Pink
been an ugly
Ranger,
Pink Ranger.
They picked the
could've.
correct thing to not retcon.
Oh yeah, she
They
looks
put
kind of
some
like
pop
Sandra
star
Bullock.
in the cast, I think.
Oh, really?
Kimberly
It was
Hart
one of Rangers, I think.
or Amy Jo Johnson.
And
Amy Jo Johnson was
dude
the
in the
There's only
coverage
one
of
Kimberly.
EFAP
was the character.
on EFAP.me, Cuba Kids screenshot at the time that guy said I had to beat those games. They're there just in case you missed it. The trolley problem section, looking
You know
good,
what?
up to date, beautiful.
Yeah.
Becky
There's something
G.
about
Becky.
classic Power Rangers that's just it's a 90s vibe. The catchphrases and the goofiness of it, and you know the formula of the show, and I was just it just works. All the little like toys and the gadgets, like she had the bow and they all had the swords and the axes and stuff.
It's very
and it was
campy.
Good too.
It's very campy.
It was funny as fuck
Zord.
to be like, how are we on this? And then you return to the watch together and you're like, oh, that's how.
I still don't know.
Like I said, return to the watch together, you can tell.
When you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah.
Oh, let me look back to the thing. Oh, it's just a flash from it. Oh, it's a flash. Okay, yeah, that's why. Yeah,
That's why we got
Man,
here.
Power Rangers is a vibe.
Yeah, there was, because it was an old like Japanese Godzilla style Sentai show, and not to be confused with hentai.
Super Sentai wasn't.
There's a lot of elements that it touched on.
That
And it's like
was
it's so much of it is practical. They had the big puppets at the end that they were in, and they'd fuck each other up, and there'd be miniature trees and stuff. And all the little bad guys that they fought, those were all dudes in costumes, and they were flipping around, and all the props were real, all their little swords and stuff, and it was just, oh man, it's 90s.
The interesting thing though about what they localized it in North America was it was a North American production company that just basically decided to shoot their own like Saved by the Bell type show and just insert it into this Japanese action show that already existed, and it kind of worked. Like,
is that really how it happened? Just some crazy morph?
Yeah, the action and the sort of
original
American style part was shot
Rangers
separately.
show. I don't think it's called Power Rangers, but yeah, it's
Wow, that makes so much sense. Actually thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, and when you look back on those episodes, they can be a bit more fun to watch when you have that kind of like, oh, okay, I
That
see what they
context, yeah.
So, Caplo opinions. What was your opinion about what he said?
Well,
I think-
what was his opinion, and what's your disagreement or whatever?
I think part of the reason we went off on a tangent and we weren't really super invested in what he was saying while the lightsabers were being fought with is that everything he said so far has been more or less agreeable in the service of a video that could have been called Plot Armor is Bad and Here's Why. But this video is called Plot Armor is Good sometimes, and we haven't gotten there yet. Everything he's describing is like, yeah, that's a reason the plot armor is bad. I agree. When are we gonna...
Yeah, it's so
When's
confusing.
the other
Like,
shoe gonna drop?
He titled this wrong, or he's got some big reveal coming.
Butt's coming.
deserves-
Something's coming. Mueller
He
likes
deserves
those
an
butts.
award for the
I do like the
selection of
butt.
clips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the clips
Reasonable?
are atrocious. It's just random.
But especially if it's by luck, because red shirts are rarely lucky. So you've got to let your characters lose in all sorts of ways.
There
Let
we
them
go.
lose physical fights, let them lose personal battles, let them lose things precious to them, let them lose their friends. And
Wait.
relative
Korra is not a good example of.
Let him
Yeah.
make the argument. This is the
She's
part we were
totally
waiting for, okay?
Yeah.
I give
afterwards.
I give ER and Sitch full permission
not
to
a good
spig out once he finishes the argument on Korra.
really often as
Because he
well,
will.
with lasting physical and emotional consequences, to convince people that your characters can lose and that they don't have plot armor. I've talked about this a lot in writing character arcs
Is it
and
reverse
redemption
Korra?
arcs, that we allow characters to fail in the small moments so that it's satisfying when they succeed in the big ones. And in the same way, we allow them to fail in the small moments so that it's tense as to whether they will in those big ones. And all those discussions, by the way, are in volumes 1 and volumes 2 of On Writing and World Building, which contains all of the
I assume they're his books. I don't actually know.
Yeah, did
Yeah,
you
they
write
are.
that?
Yeah.
discussions
guess.
about writing world building that I've had. They've compiled
Wait, I'm
everything
just
with a
gonna-
ton of additional notes, and it's sold nearly 60,000 copies so far, which is amazing. Thank you very
wow.
much. And if you
That's a
prefer
lot.
to listen to audio
Maybe you can write a book on how to focus your fucking camera next.
Adam.
No, it's fine. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just joking around. He should shave though.
listen to audiobooks, then there is the audiobook version of volume 2 out as well now. Links are all down below. Thank you very much. But it's not just that. If you want to add back in more tension, more immersion, then number 2, you've got to use different sources of tension than just will they survive. Legend of Korra is really damn good at this. Like, if we think about it,
Really? Really go. We're here now. It's gonna be fun.
Here we go. We know that Korra's probably not going to die. She's the main character, she's the avatar, so the writers very rarely use that threat as the main source of tension. In season 1, she goes up against Amon with the threat that she might lose her powers.
It's funny because I understand all of this because I watched Dia's videos. I know what he's talking about. I also know how he's wrong, but I won't be the one to explain it.
Every time I hear your Avatar, my brain says, and you've got to deal with it.
You gotta deal with it. And she doesn't deal with it very long.
Bending, the thing that she has always defined herself by. That is a personal crisis that adds a lot of tension to any given scene. We're always asking how close Amon is to getting to do that. In season 2, she loses access to the previous avatars, throwing her identity as the avatar into question and giving us a permanent, real, devastating consequence. It's only in season 3 and 4 that they start to really draw tension from whether or not she'll get hurt or die. And the thing is, they make good on that threat. Korra gets crippled, and that's to say nothing of her mental stability, which she is...
This Korra show seems pretty neat. What do you guys have to say about that?
Sounds good. I mean,
He's confusing. What you got?
I've got so many things that my mind
Go nuts.
Yes, pick one.
Floor is yours.
Well, number one, when her bending's taken away, it is about 5 minutes later that she gets all that bending back. So yeah, I mean, fuck that. That doesn't count. And what was the other thing? She loses the access to the past avatars. She never used them. That completely comes out of fucking nowhere, and it doesn't have any real consequence for the rest of the show. So that's nothing too. And her losing her legs, it's just fucking despair porn. We get like maybe an episode or 2 of her doing some physical therapy, seeing an old character telling her to just man the fuck up. It's no problem. It's so easily solved. It's just she's so fucking retarded. Anyway, yeah, I don't trust him. He lies.
Can I just also comment? I went to his Amazon page, and the only books he's written are the world building books. He hasn't really written a fiction book.
That's okay.
True.
He's allowed to have
Fine.
a perspective on how to write, even if he hasn't written.
How many
fiction.
books have you written?
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm just gonna say, like, I would believe him more if he actually did what he says he's doing. Does that make sense?
So if Ryan Johnson wrote
yeah.
a book about writing like advice, would you care about that more than
all right,
than this
that's
guy?
a fair point.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Well,
If
I think the fact
Fringy
that
wrote a
he's-
book about screenwriting, would you trust his opinions more?
Maybe.
Oh wow.
Like, I mean, I was thinking if like, would I write a
Correct
book
answer
on
is no, by the way.
design and feel okay
No,
about that?
I understand what you mean.
The game, I'd be like, well, I know a fair amount about it, but yeah, I've never made a game, so what? Maybe I know nothing.
No, I mean, I understand it intuitively. If it's just like, oh, presumably you've written stuff. Like, I understand that as a perspective, but you know,
Yeah,
he doesn't have to write anything to have valid and correct perspectives on writing.
It's with the Korra example, it's weird because like, yeah, even though Korra like gets beat up a lot, she doesn't solve most of her own problems herself.
Exactly.
They're still solved by like the plot or universe. So it's like this very bizarre situation.
Damn. So what? So it's not a very good show, you're saying?
Well, I mean, it's an awful show, obviously, but
I don't know. I haven't seen Legend of Korra.
Good about you guys.
Well, don't.
And on Mary Sue grounds.
Yeah, just watch ER's videos on Korra. You'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go. I have some wonderful videos you can just look at instead.
I always found her annoying as a kid.
Well, isn't the meme like,
guts.
I'm the Avatar, you gotta deal with it? Isn't that that's her, right?
Yeah, immediately she comes out the gate. Just it's a fucking nightmare.
I definitely prefer the Pink Ranger.
I've had people make honest cases to me though to play the game Life is Strange, and every single time I'm just like, look, I don't know how to better say this. There's no way that however good you're telling me it is, I will enjoy it more than I've already enjoyed ER's video on it.
Life is Strange makes very little sense. It has some really bad dialogue.
But Fringy, as we learned from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, life doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense. Life
Yeah,
doesn't make sense, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
True.
That's what I learned from that movie.
I made the mistake of telling people I like Vampire, and now everyone's just like, play Life is Strange. And I'm just like, I feel like they're not the same.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Play
Vampire?
Remember Me instead.
VAMPYR is how the game's spelled.
Vampire?
It's Vampire. Get it right, goddamn.
Vampire.
Vampire.
Oh my goodness.
Vampire.
Vampire. IRE. Vampire.
Well,
what were we doing?
We were kind of just letting them vent about Korra, which
gotcha. Yeah, to get that off his chest.
Yeah.
So if what he summarized about Korra was accurate, then that would just mean that her plot armor is justified.
He's got a point, right? About you can derive tension from things beyond will the character live or die. You will
losing things they value, of course.
Aspects of their identity, other people. Like, that's all cool. It's just I have no idea. Based on what you've said, it sounds like Legend of Korra is not a great extent
in
for
this
the point.
specific instance, she should not have lost any of her capability right here. It's a complete asshole and breaks the rules of the entire universe beforehand. They just wanted to put her in a bad situation because they haven't been able to do that for basically the entire series. And they realized that, and they wanted to do something with PTSD, and they treat it horribly. Even fans of the show are like, this is not how you would treat that kind of actual, I don't know what you would call PTSD, a psychosis, a mental illness.
Trauma?
Mm-hmm.
They treat it by having her go to the person who abused her, having a nice little chat, and her kind of like realizing, oh, you don't have power over me. It's so fucking stupid. I can't.
Let it out, man. Let it out.
It's okay.
This is so much.
A safe space.
Well, I kind of want to see if he has any further point to this.
Fighting for. We never feel like she has plot armor because 1, we've been shown she can lose and in meaningful ways. 2,
she does lose
the tension
a lot,
comes from
not
a believable.
meaningfully, but
I'm gonna go ahead and assume she does get plot armor as well, but I haven't seen it.
Well, so in the first season, she loses her bending from Amon, and the way she solves the conflict is like, so if you haven't watched the show, the whole season. In the first season, she's trying to learn how to airbend, and she's incapable of doing this. And it's like presented that she's incapable because she has to change who she is as like her personality. She has to, become more of a go with the flow kind of person or something.
Or at least initially, yeah.
Right. It's kind of like the original Avatar.
I can airbend.
I remember that.
I think you saw, Mahler. Like Aang has to change his personality to learn earthbending. He has to become more like self-assured and more like stand his ground and not just be like so evasive, sort of. And so she has kind of like the opposite problem. And so when Amon takes all her bending away, she doesn't change her personality to get airbending. She just does it for no fucking reason in the last fight. Like that's the plot armor. She just granted airbending and defeats the bad guy in one hit.
It's even
So the
worse
judge
that
said, I just airbent with my freaking mind.
That just happened.
That
even
just
worse, 'cause
happened
she
indeed.
never does have to change her personality at all to learn like airbending footwork. She goes against all the teachings that she was presented with beforehand, does whatever the fuck she wants to learn airbending footwork on her own because she's, she's magical. Mary Sue is the best word for it. And then she has all her power taken away, but she's just so fucking magical. She keeps that power, and it just comes out of fucking nowhere to save her friend. I hate this show, by the way.
Well, ER, I have a question. If you ate yourself, would you double in size or would you disappear?
If I ate myself, would I double in size or would I all of myself? No, I think my head would remain. Right?
Right. I feel like the answer is
because
neither.
well, if I
it's a false dichotomy. Neither thing would happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
You'd
all
be
right.
inside out or
I was
something.
Rags is a charlatan, a falsehoodman.
I was just trying to engage with
I was curious. Yeah, just
Good with your
You
head.
lose.
Rags is a fucking idiot. He doesn't realize the hypotheticals are stupid.
That's true. They could never. He could never. Like, it'd never happen.
Actually, no, you wouldn't gain weight because if you're eating off parts that you're cutting off of yourself, you'd be losing as much more weight because you wouldn't eat the bones, right? Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Okay, anyway, dude, I had a friend who believed that if you stuck your head up your ass all the way, you would disappear, and I fucking lost my shit when he said that.
What?
He was like, what else would happen?
How old was your friend at the time?
Well, yeah, that's why if I ever have like a straw and there's no wastebasket around, I just fold it into itself and then I just push and it's just gone.
So it works.
It's just gone. Where'd it go? I don't know.
And 3, the
Magic.
thing under the bed told me. So if you're worried about a story or a particular scene not being tense enough, then consider drawing tension from threatening a character's identity, relationships, morality, their place in the world. And personally, I find that so much more compelling, right? Because that's the stuff that we get attached to in a character.
Actually, staggeringly
also their
straightforward
life.
advice, right? Like, don't just challenge their health, challenge other aspects. You're like, well, yeah.
Don't just challenge their physical health, challenge their mental health.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is good advice. It's just Cora's worst advice.
Yeah, you could do that. You just have to
Clips.
I guess
do it confidently.
I would
Good
say
advice,
that
bad clips.
this feels like very. You know what? I feel like there'd be a lot of people who would say, "Well, yeah, of course," because the genres that I engage in don't often deal with like life or death. Like, what is a drama? Typically, like a soap opera. Well, I guess soap operas.
Yeah,
can
the
get
vast
pretty
majority.
dramatic. But
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
of stories that aren't about people being threatened with life or death. Like, you figure that this is something that everybody would understand, unless you're reading like action stories all the time, or watching action shows and TV, TV shows.
I mean, this is our lives. Most of the drama in our life has nothing to do with like mortal danger or peril. It's just like, oh no, what will Dad think if he finds out about that? If I'm
Oh no,
just
it's
stealing all
raining
the
when I went
bandwidth.
outside. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't. What if the parents find out I've been stealing all the bandwidth to download games because I must finish that game? Or will Timmy go to the prom with me or something like that?
Will anyone
It's
find
not-
out I killed Lewis? I don't know.
Yes.
Third body.
Yeah, I'd say the majority of drama and stuff is not life-threatening at all. So, what he's giving advice for is the majority of things
I'd
that
say
are done.
it's very localized to, like, if you're talking about action stories, essentially, rather than a lot of other genres where it would just be like, yeah, of course you don't just threaten their physical health, of course. Like, that's a huge amount of the conflict and drama in a huge number of mediums.
It's good advice. I'm just wondering when he's going to
It
tell
is
me when
sound
plot
advice,
armor is
but-
good.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a disagreement.
Yeah.
It's the clips.
It's not. I'm just
building up to the
I'm not-
ultimate butt.
Ooh, I don't
Come on,
think
The
boy.
so.
worst
'Cause
thing
are the
it's in
examples.
this fucking
for me.
room right now.
What if they're
His
hope
points
so,
are
because-
okay.
This is
Yeah, they're
his points
basic.
are
That's why
fine,
I'm
but
so
like
confused.
the title of the video is "Plot Armor is Good," and every point has
Yeah.
been about how plot armor can be bad, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like,
A generic.
Get to the
point, like, we know.
sometimes. Wait, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, it would be the opposite of sometimes, yeah, because plot armor is good as a whole is kind of the implication of the title. That's true.
Like, a character dying is bad, but I want them to be happy in their life as well, and it's a lot more believable that they end up miserable, right? It's how...
Wait, what?
Is it? Is it? It's
Sorry,
more
what?
believable that they end up miserable?
Let's roll it back.
Characters' identity, relationships, morality, their place in the world. And personally, I find that so much more compelling, right? Because that's the stuff that we get attached to in a character. Like, a character dying is bad, but I want them to be happy in their life as well, and it's a lot more believable that they end up miserable.
What the fuck?
No, it is not, good sir.
But I also want them to be depressed.
It's more believable that people are depressed. Is like, that's a strange. Are you okay, my dude? Things going on.
Yeah, I think you're projecting there a little bit, buddy.
He's been watching too many Zack Snyder movies.
Right? It's how characters change, and it's how they foster empathy, and drawing tension from who they are on a fundamental level is really interesting. Sometimes, though, it does just come down to creating a great antagonist.
Hey, you're happy to see Mr. Man from Korra there.
You know what? He could have been a great antagonist. He actually could have been. They fuck him up at the end, though.
No.
Yep.
So, who is the fourth one there? Is the last one?
It's from Jessica Jones.
I don't know, actually.
Jessica Jones.
Oh, David Tennant.
Hypno Man, hypnotized
Well,
master.
his ability is that he can like mind control everybody to do what
Oh
he
my
wants.
goodness.
Spoopy.
Spoopy indeed.
You know, villains who ideologically or intellectually or morally challenge my characters, whose actions build into their character arc and create tension.
What's Joffrey's character arc?
He doesn't have one at all. I was going to say, why is he putting him as an antagonist? Like, Joffrey doesn't really fit that. And gets worse.
I'm happy to call him an antagonist, but he doesn't have an arc.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
From that. So the question of will they survive doesn't matter so much. Like, Amon, the Joker, Joffrey all do this. And this applies on a scene-by-scene level, you know, if you want to make a specific
wait, will they survive for the Joker is really important.
I don't understand. Yeah, dude, it is for Joffrey too. Joffrey being alive is causing chaos and torment for everyone.
I can't speak for that one, but I mean, like, Joker is trying to get Batman to kill him, so it is very important whether or not he lives or dies.
Part of why Joffrey dying is so interesting is because everyone has a motive to kill him, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, this is just wrong.
So be nice, everybody. So that don't give everyone around you a reason to kill you. Good life advice.
Doesn't matter so much. Like, Amon, the Joker, Joffrey all do this. And this applies on a scene-by-scene level, you know, if you want to make a specific scene more tense as well. In The Dark Knight, the Joker is roaming through the streets, and Batman could kill him right here and now. He's got guns on his motorbike, and the Joker is out of bullets. But the question is really not, will Batman survive?
Him being out of bullets is less of a reason to kill him, just to be clear.
Okay, so it sounds like he does recognize that whether or not Joker lives or dies is an important part, right? Based on whether it's Batman doing it. Now I'm lost. Now I'm confused.
And give up his morals and try to kill the Joker. And we believe it because, one, we've seen him struggle with violence and his morality the whole time, and two, this could actually happen in our minds. But, come on, not every single scene can have this super personal crisis of morality going on inside their brain, right? Sometimes you just got a plot point and you want an obstacle, and so you're creating one. How do you make that more interesting? Okay, so here's where you use dilemmas and secondary objectives.
Okay.
I thought dilemmas was spelled with the D-I-L-E-M-N-A-S. Is it two M's or M-N?
Pretty sure it's two M's.
I wonder
it's a weird looking word.
Dilemmas.
Dilemma for us.
Yeah, that's correct.
D-I-L-E-M-M-A-S.
Yep.
What you said? M. What?
Well, I was wondering if that was an alternate spelling because in my head I think I've seen.
The S is making it look weird, but it's two M's.
Okay, the S is not relevant. So I have in my head I'm thinking that dilemma could be spelled D-I-L-E-M-N-A-S. I don't know why I thought that was an alternate spelling for it. Is that true, or am I just thinking?
A cursory Google search is that's an error. That for some reason it's a way that people do spell it, but that it's not the right way.
So I have seen it. Okay, because in my mind,
so you may have seen it. Yes.
Also, for the
I was
record,
curious
me,
how it went.
Fringy, and Rags, and by extension some others, are already in the territory of getting the excuse we've been streaming for at least 11 hours, talking non-stop. We get to make mistakes now.
No, I didn't make a mistake. I was asking.
It's okay,
if it was a
Rags. Got
spelling
you
of the
covered,
word.
buddy.
It's
I
not a
don't think you made a
mistake.
mistake,
It's
Rags.
not a
'cause
mistake.
I didn't
true.
even make a mistake.
Yeah.
I
That's right.
highlighted if something was a mistake, and I was
That's right.
asking if something was a
That's right.
mistake.
All
I
I
covered
said,
my fucking
Rags.
bases.
all I
Good
said
Even
is
in
we're
my
allowed to
current
make
state.
mistakes. That's all I said.
Good job, dude.
That'll
think
come in
in the,
handy if I make one, which is probably not going to happen. But in the case that it happens, it's good that that'll be a thing that you could mention or bring up.
I think in
But
your
until then, I'm gonna
original
be clear.
Bearstein universe that you came from, Rags, they spelled it with an N, so it's not your fault.
If I see
It's not your fault.
if I see a beer stained beer, then I know what to do. I know what to do.
I
When
can't believe
see
you guys
the
wanted to talk
beers.
about this instead of listening to what he's got to say about secondary objectives and
Well, let's
dilemmas.
see.
This sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see.
this
He's
video is
giving,
my
like,
secondary
totally-
objective right
He's
now.
giving,
Wow.
he's giving totally okay writing advice that has nothing to do with the title of his video.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
Really, we have
Yeah.
deviated.
Which makes it the
significantly
best
from
video we've
plot
seen
armor.
today.
Yeah, because he's making generally okay observations.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is fine.
I just
pretty
don't know
much.
why.
I like how everyone is like,
Title?
fine.
I'm getting,
Which puts him in the high tier of videos covered on
does.
EFAP when we just go,
Top 20th percentile or something.
yeah.
I feel like I'm the
God,
one
hello,
getting annoyed
future
though
me.
that he's not getting to his main point.
We got a couple minutes left. We got this.
Yeah, we got.
I know there's going to be maybe an ad and outro, but we got some time.
In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix,
Ooh.
our characters end up in this huge fight in the Department of Mysteries against Voldemort's Death Eaters, where they find this prophecy, this orb thing, right? It's kind of a MacGuffin, really, and Voldemort wants to get a hold of it.
Is it a MacGuffin? I thought does it have like a memory in it or something that has... It's like understood, isn't it? We know what it is, or... I can't remember. I have to rewatch
It's
it.
the prophecy of him defeating Voldemort, isn't it?
Well, it's in Harry Potter, so I'm going to assume it doesn't make sense.
That is beside the point, okay? It's just that MacGuffin is typically sort of a like item of value for everybody that we don't even know what it is, right? Versus, but
It isn't like it like only certain people can read them,
Yeah.
like to who it pertains to or something like that.
don't know.
I have no idea.
But I was going to say
Sorry,
MacGuffin
this
is
an
also
interesting thing. According
It's
to
just like an
Leo
object that you have
Wikipedia.
to-
What's that, sorry?
It's just an object that serves as the plot advancement thing.
Well, the best
Anyone
example I think is from Pulp Fiction. The briefcase is a MacGuffin. What's in there? What does it do?
Sure.
Don't know, but everybody wants it.
The interesting thing with Wikipedia is that it adds onto that it is insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself. That's what Wikipedia has in the definition of a MacGuffin.
Oh,
So
wow.
the ring in
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings
sure.
cannot be a MacGuffin because
Well,
it.
and I
it's
want
a
to
this is
clarify,
just law.
colloquially, MacGuffin is now used to just item of importance. Like people will put it
Yeah,
on
pretty
there.
much.
Yeah.
It's just that, according to Wikipedia, a MacGuffin is an object, device, or event that is necessary to the plot and the motivation of the characters, but insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself.
I mean, it could be a semantic thing. It's like, what's in the briefcase. We never find out what it is. It doesn't matter to the audience that much at all in and of itself.
All that matters is it advances the plot and motivates
Yeah.
the characters.
Yeah.
They have two objectives in this scene. They want to get out alive, and they don't want this prophecy to fall into Voldemort's hands. Harry ends up being faced with a dilemma: give up the prophecy, or his friends get hurt. This scene is tense because even though our main cast gets out alive,
Isn't this the same as what he was saying before about write drama that challenges a character's identity? Isn't like a dilemma just an extension
That's
of that?
not
It's
a-
not like a new thing. It's part of the.
dilemma?
It's like
Dilemma.
it's tied pretty closely to the original thing, which is challenge your characters beyond just life and death. Challenge.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely
their
right. This is a
morality,
moral
challenge
challenge.
their
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
and
he's been
and the-
repeating himself for 13 minutes.
Yeah, I think
Kinda,
also-
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
just it's
Seriously.
tangled up because we're talking about plot armor, we're talking about other principles of writing that are getting in the mix, and then we've separated into different parts of the video things that are like under an umbrella category. It's a very it's strange. It feels
The
like we're kind of
structure.
all over the place. It's
The
all like
structure's
saying a
messed
bunch
up.
of things that are
Very
really
video.
wrong. In fact,
the-
like a lot of the observations are fine, but it's just a confusing structure to the video.
Even if he's saying things that are correct, when it's structured this poorly and he just keeps repeating himself, it just gets.
I think,
it's
yeah,
mind-numbing.
the
Yeah.
editing and structure is making this video a lot worse than it needed to be.
Yeah,
You're saying
because,
that's
and the framing. this framing is not a secondary dilemma. It's like I think it's a main plot point.
No,
right?
he's saying that there's a dilemma and a secondary objective. They're two different things.
So the secondary.
This is the
objective
dilemma
what,
example,
saving-
right?
This is the dilemma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the dilemma.
But as Fringy pointed
and the
out,
secondary-
this should qualify as a category that he brought up earlier, which was challenging the character morally, which is true.
Yeah, because the way that he introed this is not every sin is going to be absolutely, like, insanely important in terms of what's happening to character. But this dilemma sounds like I haven't seen that film. This sounds important.
Yeah,
well, so the problem is,
I
need to rewatch it, but they've got like an army of Death Eaters. I don't understand why they couldn't just do the Kang thing in Quantumania and just take it off him and kill them. You know what I mean? Like, the idea that, like, is it just a matter... Someone's going to have to tell me he's a Potter expert, but is it just a matter of the Death Eaters are like, it would be easier for us if you just give the prophecy and we'll allow you to live as a temptation? Because I know that's how he presents it to him. He says, give me the prophecy or watch your friends die. Like, I remember that line. Because Jason Isaacs is great, but I don't remember the fuller context to be critical of it or not.
Maybe the kids just all had plot armor and they couldn't take him out.
Yeah.
Those orbs are very fragile. That's probably the best defense. Like, they need him to be consensual in providing it in case he destroys it, I guess.
Perhaps.
Well, couldn't they do like a
spell? You'd think. I don't know.
The spell that controls them?
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'd have to rewatch the Harry Potter
I don't know
movies.
anything
Yeah.
about
I'm
Harry
sure
Potter.
it makes total sense.
Don't know whether they're going to succeed in this secondary objective, and in fact, they fail. These complicate the tension
so this is
in
a
the
secondary
scene, and it turns it
objective,
into
okay.
more of a problem-solving exercise for them. And then you get to show
Well, I
the
mean,
strengths
a lot of conflict is problem solving.
I would have
right?
thought all of writing is problem solving.
Yes.
Oh well, I guess if
Yeah.
you're talking about from
agree,
the
yeah.
perspective of the writer, but I mean plot points. Is that what he's speaking to?
Or because he gave the MacGuffin, it becomes a secondary objective to survive. Because now he's showing a scene where they're trying to fight them off.
This is why I thought it was a dilemma, because the whole point is, do you put the prophecy which will lead to whether or not the world is saved above or below your friends, which is a very reasonable thing to say as a dilemma. But now he's saying, like, well, the orb was the secondary objective. Like, okay.
It's very confusing.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, they fail. These complicate the tension in the scene, and it turns it into more of a problem solving.
Wait, sorry, did he describe that as they failed by handing over the orb?
Yes.
I guess so.
Is that fair? I don't know if that's because this should be described as a failure.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I'm saying I genuinely am not sure. Just because, choosing your friends over the orb, I don't know.
I mean,
Ponder the orb and ponder
both,
your
right?
friends.
I wish I remembered this movie better.
Yeah, I wish I did too.
Yeah, same.
Pondering the orb.
Solving exercise for them. And then you get to show the strengths of your characters, right? Or it can just be plot tension. In Eyes of the Void by Adrian Tchaikovsky, multiple factions are all trying to get hold of this one person, Idris Telemmier. And as this planet is breaking apart with him on it, the tension isn't so much about whether he's going to survive, but who takes him, because that's the question that matters. A lot of it really does come down to part 5, the yes.
Okay, I hate the structure of this.
Oh, here.
Yeah,
rambling.
This is actually hard to follow.
There are too many examples.
I
Like
know.
one or two.
This is
I just I
this
can't.
is a badly written video.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a dumb guy, but the structure of this is just brutal, man. He establishes a point, you say yes,
At
and
least
then
we
he
got
goes
a
up to
butt.
something completely random. Ugh, it wasn't
Finally,
worth
the
it.
butt.
It wasn't worth the wait.
A character surviving or not getting hurt is a lot more palatable if they lose in some other way as well, even if it's unlikely
maybe.
or lucky that they do get out in the first place. Cora gets out alive, but she loses her bending. Donna gets out alive, but she
For
loses
5
her
minutes.
memories. Harry gets out alive, but Sirius dies. Stories.
I don't see why
often
these things are
avoid-
just better.
Well, no, I imagine
more
that it's
palatable. I
speaking
think
to
I agree
the
with him.
idea
More
that,
palatable.
that in
it's
terms
more
of
acceptable.
consequences, if the characters get out of a situation that was very dangerous, if it costs them something to get out of it,
It's kind of what we brought up with Tony Stark.
yeah, exactly. That even if a character doesn't die, even if a character doesn't get hurt, you can hurt them in some other way. It's important that the scenes are consequential, regardless of what the outcome is.
avoid plot armor by demonstrating that secondary characters are vulnerable even if main characters aren't so much. These stories with that poetic approach to death often rely on this type of tension a lot more. The yes, but. Fundamentally, and here's the thing you gotta remember, people aren't gonna feel that there's a lot of plot armor if you're not drawing a lot of tension, you're not spending page time or screen time on the question of whether they will get out alive, but something else, something more profound, those secondary objectives, those dilemmas, those other points of tension. Now, as much as I wanted...
He said that like 30 times already.
It draws focus.
So, is he saying that, like, the audiences won't notice the plot armor, or there won't be as many opportunities for plot armor to arise if you're focusing on other things?
Maybe this would be a hypothetical to, like, imagine if you had a film that just slowed down every time a bullet missed to just show you, wow, look at how close that was. Oh, that was close. Yeah, that was close. Yeah, it just draws your attention to the fact that they should be getting hurt, rather than if the same thing was happening, but there's way more of a focus in the story on, like, getting some object or saving that other person. I agree with that. Like, you draw people's focus, and then plot armor can be more or less obvious to people, for sure.
So it seems like he's giving you tips on how to get the audience not to notice.
What, to trick them?
I mean, honestly, that's the way he phrased it, right?
A little bit, but I want to give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt. I think I'm just saying that you can circumvent these problems by just pay attention to what you're focusing on, because what you focus on is an important choice when it comes to a story.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like, okay, so I'm harping on it, but I'm really waiting for him to say when it's good.
Yeah.
When is plot armor good?
It hasn't
He's
dropped.
like, hear all the things
He's not gonna do it.
He's still got a little left. We can make it. We can make it.
We got time.
To rant and get out my whip and beat the dead horse that is Game of Thrones Season 8 one more time, and other stories like Star Wars and Snowpiercer, it didn't really fit for this video. And that is why I have created a whole companion
no, this
video
isn't the
where
end, right?
No, can't be. We've got enough. There's no way it's all ads. No way.
It's just all an advertisement for his
Got his own little.
This is funny though. This is the Secret of Mario's Jump Part 2. You can find it on Nebula.
It isn't, you know, because there are misconceptions with Jon Snow's resurrection, with Rey beating Kylo Ren, Game of Thrones Season 8.
Oh, he said misconception. You catch that?
DLC. Is this plot armor?
He said it's a misconception that you'd see it as plot armor that Rey beat Kylo in Force Awakens or something. There's a lot to untangle there.
Oh my god. And some thoughts that I could not fit.
Also, he said there are thoughts in this video I couldn't fit in this one. It's like,
yes, there are.
Temporally, you could.
You determine how long the fucking video is, just like how you determine how long your books are. It's up to you.
The amount of times he repeated it, he had room for everything.
Part of the thrill of being the author.
Also, someone said, I disagree that having indirect costs makes plot armor more palatable. Arya could have lost the use of her legs and it still wouldn't have negated the fact that she should have died. That's true, but that would be more palatable.
It'd be more palatable.
It just
There'd
would.
be consequences rather than soup.
Yeah, if she loses her legs, I'd be like, oh shit, well, yeah, she should have died, but, I mean, at least she lost her legs, so it's a consequence, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It seems like his advice for how to do plot armor well is to do things to make it less plot armor. Yeah. Which implies that plot armor is bad, actually.
Yeah. That should be the title.
Yeah, that's right.
Plot armor is bad, actually.
Find it over on Nebula as episode 3 of my ongoing Beyond Writing series. There's a companion video for everyone that's on the main channel. Nebula is a platform that a bunch of us creators made ourselves because we didn't like living under the threat of corporations taking away.
But I don't tell me that's not why you made Nebula. You made Nebula to have a fucking money wall. Like, what's it called? It's
paywall.
Paywall, that's it. Yeah, because there's no way that you, no offense, man, but you don't have any problems about censorship. You didn't even get close to being censored in this video. There's no fucking way.
Yep.
The idea that you like, we went to Nebula so we could be truthful, and I was like, fuck off.
No.
No way. You didn't have a paywall. That's why.
Our livelihood at a moment.
By the way, that's totally fine. If you wanted to make more money from making the videos and you set up a system to do that, okay, you could just say that.
It helps us be more independent,
Wait, look at this. These are some good. Where is
Memes?
it?
Memes?
Good content right
Yeah,
here.
I like memes.
Oh, okay, so we got
Right there. Look at the. You like the good media criticism people?
Just Right is fantastic.
Lindsay Ellis, Maggie Mayfish, Patrick
some
Williams.
good
all four
content
of them.
creators.
Lindsay Ellis and Patrick Williams, Lessons from the Screenplay is probably the only one. Well, Lessons from the Screenplay and Lindsay Ellis have videos that I think are good. They do exist. They're out there.
But overall, Lindsay Ellis is awful.
Yes. Correct.
I'm trying to think of whether or not I describe it as hit or miss on a media or mostly bad or mostly good. I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch them. I remember liking like the Hobbit stuff and
her
I
movie.
mean, I like when she canceled herself on the internet.
Has
Yeah,
Patrick
that was really
ever
fun.
made anything good? Like, I don't know what
Hmm.
Patrick Williams is doing there.
I like the gif
Think
of all
about
the
that.
hot dogs smashing into her face. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good memes.
Taking away our livelihood at a moment's notice. It helps us be more independent. We can make what we want without any sort of censorship. And I think
I
that's
just stop saying that. It's not a thing you have to worry about.
You don't get to pull that card until you actually get censored.
Yeah.
great.
Well,
It's also
What kind of contentious content is this
It's
guy
it's
making? that
bullshit,
he's,
Sid.
like, so
It's
worried
absolutely they're
about?
lying. There's no fucking way they
You
make
aren't the one
content they
that
worry
have to
about
worry about
censorship.
that.
It's not true.
Saying
man.
shit
Like,
like,
I
what's he doing
talk
against
about
that?
or good
plot
is
armor.
extremely controversial.
Being like, there's plot armor in Game of Thrones. Oh no, don't censor me. Oh no. I just wanted to be critical of Game of Thrones.
I mean, if ER said that, I'd believe him. I'd be like, oh, that makes sense.
Obviously, yeah. I do. I think we have the concern of being censored a lot, but like the idea that they do, it's like, no, come on, you guys.
No, you're the one. You guys are the ones fucking cheering for that shit.
We need to be free to make
Curiosity
milquetoast
Stream has
takes
been
on media.
foundational in helping Nebula grow, and so we've created a bundle where you get access to both
There is more to this video, right?
of these amazing educational
hope
platforms
so.
with documentaries from people like David
It can't all be ads left.
Attenborough and
All
so
of it.
much more.
If
you want to
you know what,
Ads
guys,
all the
I
way
think
down.
This whole thing is just an ad for people to.
I was
click
about
on
to
this plot
say,
armor.
I'm having a
that's
bad
it.
realization here that like this feels like clickbait
Yeah.
in an ad.
Yeah, it's like, and he
feels
didn't it didn't explain his point that plot armor is bad except
That's what
when
Cap
it's-
said. All he did was explain it's bad
It was
except that when you
absolutely
justify it,
different.
which is
Because
Which
just
could have
good
literally
except when you
everything.
justify it. Yeah.
something that was
Oh.
mentioned in the ad is the companion videos on Nebula. That there's like the video on the YouTube, and then this isn't one where it continues over on Nebula, right?
This is what
I
I
don't
say,
know.
it's
We got to
DLC.
find out.
now.
Must know the
Oh, my
secret.
bad.
additional content like this, then you can do it for
Surely
just
not.
$15 a year with 26%
Yeah, I
off.
know. There's
And
such great
the
offers.
nice thing
Oh.
about
Oh.
the
This guy.
sponsor is that I
Oh, it's
get
more
to
sponsor
sponsor
stuff.
my own video with my own stuff. That is very cool.
calm
Thank
down
you
with the fingers?
very much. Check it
is-
out.
this
The
is
link is
DLC.
down below. Let me know what you think.
It's not sponsored.
Now,
This is an infomercial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you better
DLC.
Let's bring
running
Wait,
out
he's
of
bringing it
time
all
here.
back. Here we go.
Okay,
We got it.
Wait, really quick.
all of
Really
this
quick.
together in
Yes.
Really quick. Anyone out there who wants to make their own videos where they're going to be on camera, if you're going to stand in one spot the entire time, you don't
I know
need
where
it
you're
on
going.
autofocus.
Yes,
Just leave
please.
it one focus point on your face,
Yes.
set it up, and then stay there. You don't need to set it on autofocus so that every time you move your hands, the focus shifts. All right?
Yes, I
You don't
hate
need to
that. I almost
Mhm.
brought it up earlier because it seems like everyone does this when they're just sitting in front of the webcam. Turn off autofocus. Stop it. 98% of the time when autofocus shifts, it's wrong and it's trying to clarify your hands motions or it sees a booger in the background and it gets confused or something. Just
my
take it
God.
off. Autofocus is wrong most of the time. It should be off by default.
My shots are wide, and so yeah, autofocus is just not even an option. There's too many things it could be picking up at any given time. So yeah, you just set your focal length and you're good.
I just
In
want
the-
him to say one time that plot armor is good, and I'm gonna give him like a few points. Just say it once. Don't give me any
know.
context. Just say it.
It would just be so
Forgot
funny if he
about
says, and so for all of those reasons,
What?
plot armor is good sometimes.
Yes.
And then we'll say, you bastard.
At least
I
I'll be
know.
a bit more entertained.
Don't
Many-
essays tend to have a thesis presented close to the
Why?
beginning? Yeah.
Need to have
Or
a
in the
thesis,
title, maybe
eh?
even.
Pieces of armor, the breastplate of the righteousness of the god of writing. Look, it was coming better together in my head. Number one, sometimes it is just bad writing. Set up solutions beforehand or don't put
Wait, are we
characters in-
recapping?
So Okay, let's pretend for a second that the starting statement is plot armor is good sometimes. And then his first clarification is, but sometimes it's just bad writing.
Positions that require contrived answers. 2.
That's
Plot
right.
armor can come from breaking the rules around death and pain you previously set up. They can also shift the tone, though that can be used
More
for
reasons
effect.
it's bad. Okay.
Yeah, this to me feels like saying they're bad, but they can do things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that doesn't really... It's almost like explaining why character assassination is useful. And it's like, why? It's like, because you can get the character to do things they wouldn't have done.
Well, in
Also-
point 2, he's still saying it's bad.
Also, what a cop out of a conclusion. Just summarize, like literally repeat everything you've said in a small sentences. Like
Well,
repeat the
this
titles of
isn't
your
going to help us
characters.
because we already were confused. So summarizing, it's not going to change anything.
3. Plot armor usually comes about because the audience doesn't buy into the type of tension you're relying on. Show the character can lose in many ways, and give the story a different source of tension than will they survive. 4. The tension...
That one's just like, that's just not even to do with plot armor. That's just like give different forms of tension that relate not just to physical health.
All of these so far have said plot armor is bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I agree.
That's true.
Did
come from
you know?
their character
Thinking
arc.
back, did he ever define plot armor?
Probably.
No.
No.
Not
Oh,
properly.
no.
Not like in
Never
one
did.
sentence.
He should have,
Should be the
but
first thing he does.
But
what you could do is just title this video "How to Avoid Plot Armor" or "How to Fix Plot Armor,"
Yeah.
and then everything's basically fine.
Yeah.
The examples are terrible, but
Yeah.
Or just call the video
Yeah.
like me rambling about plot armor, and then you fixed everything.
That would make more sense.
Yeah,
It
but
would be
you
able
just
to
got
dedicate to
clickbaited.
it more.
You understand that, right?
Yeah.
This title's
Oh,
just
he might have
clickbait.
been.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair,
clickbait with
most of the videos we
ads.
watch are clickbait, but yes.
No, this guy tricked us.
I think, yeah, this is probably the most egregious, because this feels more so like an ad for all of his work on a different site filled with
That's what he
sponsorships
kept
and ads.
doing.
and his
All
books.
the little plugs.
Yes.
And his books.
posing a threat
He
to their
repeated
identity,
himself for
morality,
10
and
minutes
peace in the
just to
world.
plug his stuff.
Alternatively, give scenes dilemmas or secondary objectives and a yes but behind their survival. Stay nerdy, grab my book, tell me about your worst example of plot armor down below in the comments.
What's the thing is that it just asked.
Oh.
Yeah.
He-
What
it's
a,
good
what a
to
great
go-
story.
Wow.
You lying to me, Tim.
That sucked.
Lie at him.
I don't know if I go that. It's just it was.
We trusted you,
pretty
Tim.
Messy. It was
Trusted
messy.
you.
Is it?
Okay.
He's saying it's
Shiesty
good,
Tim.
Title is a lie.
and then give
I'm
the
gonna
The
leave a
title
title is
comment.
an actual lie.
I'm going
to
to leave a
say-
comment on the
yeah.
video.
I can't believe I was baited by
When
Tim.
is it good, you bastard?
Mhm.
It's good
I
sometimes.
feel like we
We'll
didn't
never
get an
learn.
example of it being good. Yeah, it
No,
was just
we didn't.
alternate
Well,
explanations,
would he say?
alternate
Would he say?
explanations.
This is the big problem. Is I don't even think this is semantics. It goes beyond that. But if he said to us right now in this call, what I mean is it's good because good things can come out of it, or that it's good because when you do it in a way that it costs them something that's not their physical health, that works as well. And it's like, but all of these are just
then-
concessions on the bad thing. It's not good things.
Or we're just talking on plot armor. We're just talking about.
Yeah,
like,
I guess if you give him the
drama.
extreme benefit of the doubt, he's trying to say that you can use this negative attribute to do a lot of different things with it, which can
He
be
doesn't say
good.
that.
Yeah, like
He,
if you're
he
writing
does
yourself
kind of
into a
say
corner-
that, but he's not. But the end result is that ultimately it's bad. You're trying to avoid plot armor.
Yeah, all the advice is how to avoid this or to justify it such that we wouldn't even call it plot armor anymore.
Yeah,
It feels like when
That's
Pillar of Garbage was like, actually, plot conveniences are good sometimes. Look at this paper where a lady said that, plot conveniences can be good when you make them not conveniences anymore.
I wonder if a lot of those.
I remember. That was funny.
Or is he saying that
Perfect.
if you write yourself into a corner and then use plot armor to get the character out of it, that gives you the challenge as the writer to say, okay, now explain that plot armor. Give a reason.
But he
for
should have.
But that, I guess.
What
that's
he
the
should have
problem
said
is-
was, "Don't. If you realize you've written yourself into a corner, you're the author. God damn it!
Yeah,
Don't
you're
do
in
that
control.
and unwrite. Yeah, go back and fix your mistake."
I guess I wonder if the problem it feels confused because the video comes across with the recognition that plot armor is a bad thing. So it wouldn't be that it's like this is a type of plot armor that's good. It's like he knows that he's sort of navigating around something that is a problem. And like it depends. Do we agree that if you have written something that's good, that you're past plot armor? It's like, oh, well, you've just written good drama. You've written a good action scene. You've written good tension.
Yeah, it sounds like the kind of advice that's telling people to accidentally write good stuff like Stephen King does. Where it's just, he does just kind of do flight of fancy. I'm just going to write whatever. I'm going to write myself into a bunch of corners. And sometimes I'm going to do really crazy stuff to get myself out of it. And every so often that works for him. But, you know, for the most part, I don't think anyone really ever says Stephen King has written a lot of great endings. I don't think that's a controversial take.
If you're trying to avoid plot armor, maybe don't have every conflict about whether they're going to die or not. Maybe write like 12 Angry Men or instead. It's like
this is not a
pieces of those thoughts were in this video. Because even the one where it said, like, go back and fix it, he even said that in his first point about how it's just going to be bad writing and stuff. It's just like, I don't mean to sound condescending, but it's just like, you really need to redraft this, especially being a writer-advisor person.
Yeah, my bar is my bar is higher for someone who is an author. This was a very poorly written video that basically doesn't address the title and doesn't even really help any writer that much. Very basic stuff in here. Not at all what I would have put together if I was to make a video on plot armor.
It had the illusion of structure and research.
And you probably should define what plot armor is at the very least.
Your first 30 seconds, like that should be the
Here is what plot armor is. Good. Now that we have established this, we can do all these other things.
And when you're a writer and you're talking about writing, and from the get-go, the first thing you mention is that sometimes it's bad writing. What a cop-out of it. Like, this is the first thing that you say.
Well, already, what is bad writing? We need to, you know, like,
how can writing be bad? Yeah.
Yeah, and from what you guys are telling me right now, in the beginning of the video, he doesn't even define what plot armor is. So it's a
I don't think he did, unless I'm just having a complete mental.
Maybe he pulled
lapse.
up
If he did, we'd remember
picture
that
maybe
part.
for 2 seconds.
Well, he opened with the Aya example, and I guess you would consider it intuitive that you'd understand, like, when they're supposed to be dead but don't die.
You know, we kind of went nuts when he mentioned Arya. Maybe he did like elaborate. We just skipped.
He gave an example, not
Okay.
a definition, but it was a pretty good example, I would say.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing, right? Someone might be like, well, that doesn't really cover all of plot armor, does it? There are times where people should be injured and not die, but they don't get injured at all, even.
Yeah, because it's like, why is this example here such a good example of plot armor? I was like, well, because human bodies, knives, sepsis, all this stuff. We have this comparison to reality. This sort of intuition that comes with when you're portraying a realistic world that plays by realistic rules, and you show someone getting stabbed and then thrown off bridges and things, and they're okay. Like that break. That's a disconnect. That makes a break in our minds between what we expect to happen based on the rules of reality and what you're showing us in the work of fiction.
I think one of the. Oh, go ahead, sorry, Fernie.
Oh, sorry. It sounded like you had more rags.
No, I was wrapping up.
Oh, I think that something that would, because a lot of the latter portion of the video is, here's how you like solve the problem of it arising in the story. I feel like a good way to lead with the video is explaining why is plot armor like a problem that shows up in stories in the first place? And a lot of the time it's just path of least resistance to get to the things that you want. It's like the quickest, easiest sort of immediate, like it's the quickest way of getting to the plot points that you want as the creator.
Quickest
and sort of
solution
thinking
for the
about
writer.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
easy to just say, well, all the stormtroopers missed.
Exactly.
And sometimes they get lost in that, just trying to cheat.
It'd be good to start with that as an explanation, and then kind of explain there are other solutions to these problems. There's other ways,
or even
just to give it a little bit more structure,
or even the
set
first,
it up properly.
Like the first segment is, your character has plot armor. How did we get here?
Yeah,
and the whole what you did was you put your characters in a situation where they should be dead based off of the rules of their world. Consider going back and fixing this, or going back and writing it to another way, because you're the god of this universe. You're the author. You can make things be whatever you want, So consider not even writing yourself into this position in the first place, which is probably generally going to be a good rule, or be prepared to deal with the consequences of what you write, which is probably always good advice to sprinkle into any author whenever they're writing anything.
I think it also would be kind of an okay take if he sort of took a turn where he said it's inevitable that sometimes plot armor like will happen, and it's okay. It's an inevitable thing. Sometimes authors need to take a liberty.
I wouldn't give that advice. I'm going
not,
to agree with
not
that.
inevitable. It's always avoidable. It's always
it's gonna
avoidable.
happen.
It's
gonna happen
understand what you
some
mean.
way or
It's-
another if you don't have it. I think.
But it depends on how you justify
in
it
small
too.
cases, not like getting stabbed in the stomach. Definitely not. But when there's like a huge shootings and you have big, huge battle scenes, right? Sequences. There's gonna be some type of liberty that you have to take with some characters in order to protect them.
I thought it was more so that people make mistakes when creating art, like that. It's very difficult to
not
have
that
a flawless
you take
story.
not that it happens,
Well, especially with
because you write it that
in
way.
the script.
Take a project
you wrote yourself into a corner with that situation.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they
not a
should avoid
natural
that.
emergent property of a story that plot armor occurs. It's
Not- it
because you
doesn't
wrote
have
it this way, and this series is to prevent you from doing that or being able
Well,
to.
one could
fix
argue
it
that
if it happens.
errors are a natural production of the creative process,
Errors,
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
It's an easy solution for a lot of writers that they're willing to take, but it's the whole point of good writing is to avoid that, like the problem solving, like not write yourself into a corner where you have to provide plot armor for these people. That's why Game of Thrones was so frustrating, because we saw great examples of them not having plot armor, and then some of the worst plot armor I've ever seen in my life.
True.
He
Worth
had
mentioning.
like some decent takes and advice, but a lot of it was so scatterbrained that he was pulling in all these unrelated issues, other different writing problems regarding certain tropes. And
Well, I feel
stakes
cheated.
And, yeah,
I do too.
Liar.
I never learned when plot armor is good. The best that we got was like how to
can
put a
come from plot
band-aid on
armor.
it, or it's a how to apply a but at least to your plot armor issue, which is not fixing the issue. It's just
I
like,
thought
well,
he'd eventually get
at
to
least
that, but then I just
the
gave
Jews
up on
got a
him.
nation of their own. It's like, well, that's not the problem.
No, guys, this is part of his Nova DLC plot armor package, which you can get for $26.99.
No.
It does
my
feel
God.
like he tried to imply that he would eventually get to the point in the Nebula video. I don't believe
Just laid
that.
you over.
Yeah, I don't
That
believe
was
it
sort of
either.
the
Yeah.
hook, wasn't it?
This was how long? How long was this video
19
actually?
90 minutes.
Too long.
19-minute
19
advertisement for his
long.
Well,
books
17
and-
minutes.
His books and his crap, yeah.
Talking about something for 19 minutes, you can
just
cover
gotta
a
buy the
lot of
DLC,
information.
Can you believe
I
it?
mean,
19
this
minutes.
entire video was like him. I think something I would write down in my notes app and just like rumble on about. That's how it felt like for me.
Yeah, if
It's
you told me
definitely
this
not
was
something
written
that-
by like an author, I'd be like, nah.
Nah.
It would have been
Yeah.
better if that was the case.
I think this is the type of video I would make, and like if I had to quiz into a 2-day
Rush it.
deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first draft, and it's all over the place.
Yeah, rushed and
first
rambly.
draft,
It's not
one recording.
focused.
Hello, you just listened to a segment of the podcast Every Frame a Pause, or EFAP. Hosted by YouTubers Mauler, Rags, and Fringy, and joined by a cycling variety of guests across the internet, they critically analyze media with exhaustive detail while pausing at every single frame. Subscribe to the EFAP channel and catch new episodes on Saturdays, as well as catch their smaller videos reacting to the latest and not-so-greatest movies and TV shows throughout the week. You can also subscribe here to EFAP Highlights for the latest shorts, clips, and supercuts, also uploaded throughout the week. Links to all the relevant channels can be found in the description section below, as well as links to their communities on Reddit and Discord. Thanks for watching.